Wendy Bell Radio is live.
Good morning. Guess who we're going to hear from today on the show? I know.
Oh, boy, jeez.
I know. I'm super excited about it.
Harriet, my bee friend.
My boyfriend, Harriet.
That poor guy.
By the way, so I forget who did this. You know who you are. Wendy Bell Radio Coffee, CrescentMountainCoffee.com.
That's the good stuff.
Do yourself a favor and listen to listen to the words that are coming out of my mouth. This is the best coffee you will, rush hour. This is the best coffee you will ever have in your life. I mean
specifically for you cold brew drinkers.
I don't drink cold brew.
I know you don't, but I'm saying there's a lot of people that do that particular one. If you're a cold brew guy, I'm a cold brew guy. That's the one you want. You want the shizzle. Just saying.
Use
Just
WBR 2024. All right. When you go there, get it. Patriot blend, shizzle blend, the decaf espresso blend, even the holiday blend. I don't even know if they're still doing that. Worth it. Get it. We get 10%.
Really good.
We get 10%, and then we donate our 10% to. We'll make anywhere between $200 and $500 a month, right? Which is great. Yeah. I mean, nobody's getting rich off of it, but we get to give it to somebody, and that's fun for us. You guys get to be a part of that, like philanthropic arm. And unlike Rumble, we keep it. I'm sorry. What? How about this? This is from Denise. D-Nice from NC. She said,
"You want to go to war,
Balake?" Here we go. This is me.
Oh.
I hate everyone, but caffeine helps. Oh, yes. Oh, yes, indeed.
And I feel this, but I appreciate the sentiment.
Too small. She knew it was going to be too small. My mortgage identifies as a student loan. Now, if it's okay with D-Nice from NC,
even though Michael doesn't have.
Maybe we could bequeath. Michael had claimed it last night. He's like, ooh, Brock's going to give that to me.
Oh, okay.
So, well, you'll have to see if you want to. Right?
I'm not quite a large yet.
Not yet?
I probably won't get there. Let's be honest.
Jolene and Daniel from Michigan. We got a book, Rooted Together by Jolene Witt. Thank you, Jolene. Appreciate the book. Very nice. Oh, and she's got a little forward in there. Apparently, she wrote this book.
Oh, wow.
Which is pretty cool.
That's
a cool card. I like that.
Written more books than I've probably read.
Wow. One of your biggest fans. Love Brock too. I'm a conservative wife, mother of 3 young adult girls. Listen to your show daily. My husband, Dan, 35 years, and I are 5th generation farmers in Southeast Michigan. And I adore your show. Please keep up what you are doing, being a voice for the millions of us patriotic listeners who love America and want to save her. I also would like to share a book I wrote, True Story of the Mother-Daughter Life or Rite of Passage, trip my eldest daughter and I took when she was 18. Way to rub it in. Jolene.
Wow.
Jolene. Sorry, yeah, you've heard that a few.
Jolene.
Well, we suck. Okay. There's that. Well, I'll speak for you. You suck. Then, I know I'm spicy today, aren't you? I don't like Tuesdays usually. Wendy and Brock. Kudos. Hooray. Woo. Not sure why. Oh, look at this. It's a little Starbucks gift card. We don't like Starbucks, but I will use your gift card. Thank you. Wendy and Brock. Let's see. I think these are for you, Brock. I think you get some golf balls.
Ooh.
Yeah, I know.
I'll use those.
These are nice. They're not the ones that are like.
Do they have the logo on them?
They do not have the picture of Joe Biden. It says, I'm lost. Joe bought those Michael bought those for Joe for Father's Day. Just wanted to say thank you for all you do. Been listening since the start of COVID. I know not only learned about conservatives, common sense politics. I learned life lessons, work advice, and values on how I will raise my newborn daughter. Oh,
wow.
Wendy, thank you for responding to my emails and giving me encouragement with my restaurant social influence platform. My wife runs her own business. I know all the things that go into the behind the scenes. Thank you, Wendy. So splurge on your favorite coffee, and Brock hit them long and straight.
Well, I can't hit them long. I can maybe sometimes hit them straight.
Eric, thank you for that. You know we protect the names of the innocent.
Some of them.
We're trying not to get you guys rounded up, thrown into the gulag.
The gulag.
But thank you. It had been a while since I hit the P.O. Box. P.O. Box 86033, Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, where Marcus, the dead deer, continues to decompose. 15221. It's going to be one of those days, ladies and gentlemen. I can feel it. Brock, you should say something nice to me.
I'm busy.
Fantastic. Thanks for playing.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Welcome to your daily dose of facts to fight off the liberal gaslighting.
You can be in the middle of a hurricane.
You have sanctuary in the city of Chicago.
Or you can be on a calm day. North is still north. You could be in a thunderstorm.
I am angry. We are not going back. Not ever.
North is still north. People can yell at me.
The hell with the Supreme Court. We will defy them.
North is still north. It doesn't change fundamental things. And in this business, right is still right, even if you stand by yourself.
We don't get fooled again. No.
Live across the fruited plain and from sea to shining sea, we are converting the Marxist left 1 hour at a time on the Wendy Bell radio program.
Hello, America. And beyond the fruited plain. Welcome home to the Wendy Bell radio program. I just will tell you the inside baseball stuff. I just corrected Brock's grammar via text message. It's never as much as me. It's always as much as I, Brock. Just so you know. Unsightly hand gestures through the glass, ladies and gentlemen, but it will not deter me from sharing with you 3 hours of common sense conservatism. How the narrative is shifting, my loves. We're going to have a great dive into some of the audio. Apparently, the Democratic National Committee, the Democratic National Party, whatever they are, has put out the talking points, and certain people in the media are now delivering the new message to you, my friends. If you haven't heard it, you soon will. Wendy Bell Radio Network app. Follow along on the live video stream. Get our podcast, Wendy Bell Radio. We got 2.5 million and growing downloads. Welcome home, my friends. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Amen. You know, when I stumbled upon the wrap-up smear and I shared it with Brock, and I was like, my man, this is like 4 years ago. I was like, oh my gosh, you've got to hear this audio. It is truly amazing when Nancy Pelosi can explain to the media in an off-the-cuff, I'm totally protected because I'm part of the ruling elite of suck. When she said this, my ears perked up.
We call it the wrap-up smear. If you want to talk politics, you call it the wrap-up smear. You smear somebody with falsehoods and all the rest, and then you merchandise it. And then you write it, and they'll say, see, it's reported in the press that this, and this. So they have that validation that the press reported the smear, and then it's called the wrap-up smear. Now I'm going to merchandise the press's report on the smear that we made. And it's a tactic.
It's a tactic. It's something we do. Kind of everyday thing. This is what we've been living in for I don't even know how long. I mean, once you figure out that you've been conned all for so long, you're like, oh my goodness. Or as my boyfriend Harry Anton would say, my goodness gracious, how long have we been conned? So it's create a story, leak it to somebody in the media who sucks. Big pickings there. have them run around, publish it using, anonymous sources or sources familiar with the investigation, or people who didn't want to be identified for fear of retribution or reprisal, whatever it is. Put it out there and then let the people who initially dropped it to you use what you've printed as validation that, look, this is what we've been talking about. The Washington Post says so. It must be true. And it's very difficult when you step back and you realize how much we've been lied to, and how many people in the media who probably really work hard, who aren't part of this sock, who get sucked into it, though, have basically had their credibility shattered. Because I don't know about you guys, I trust nobody. I don't trust Fox News, right? I work at Newsmax. I'd like to trust Newsmax. I don't trust any of the networks. I don't trust the newspapers, right? These sites. Did you guys know that it was November 15th of 2022 when Donald Trump at Mar-a-Lago made the announcement that he was running for re-election? And if he is to win, he will be only the second president to serve in 2 terms, but just non-consecutively. And I remember criticizing him. I remember him coming out and being very subdued. Brock, do you remember that?
I do.
It was almost as though somebody had taken the enthusiasm and just sort of stuck a knife in it for a while. And he was wounded and nursing it. And I wanted to shake him and be like, where is the guy? Where is the guy that I fell in love with? The fire, the truth talk, the no crap delivery, the whatever, the nicknames, the tweets, what have you. That was the only way for Donald Trump during that first term when everybody was against him and he was still able to accomplish so much. It was the only way for him to able to communicate with us. Nobody was going to tell you what was going on. Nobody was going to tell you the truth about his policies. Nobody was going to tell you what now the White House is saying the media, the right-wing media, are doing. That we're creating this false narrative that Joe Biden is feeble, that he wanders around, that he's the meander in chief. And they're going to come now and they're going to say, oh, wait a minute, we told you about the wrap-up smear. But now we're going to get on, we're going to put on our virgin clothes and we're going to put on our halos and our wings and we're going to pretend to be pure as the driven snow. I don't know why these people would say such naughty things about President Biden. Of course, it's not sticking. It's obnoxious. But I was thinking about the importance of that day, November 15th, 2022. People don't announce their candidacy 2 full years in advance of a presidential election. But Trump did. And I started thinking about that. He gave everybody in the deep state, the progressive, communist, socialist, progressive suck machine, the media, all of them, 2 years. 2 years to give it their best shot. And in those 2 years, what did the deep state do? Nothing for you. Nothing to benefit America at all. They changed a statute of limitations in New York to allow E. Jean Carroll to slide in the 11th hour and file a ridiculous lawsuit with very thin details and lots of drama. Allow her to charge Donald Trump with sexual malfeasance, if you will, right? What else did they do? He gave them 2 years to try to delegitimize the Supreme Court, to try to stack it, to try to eliminate people like Clarence Thomas and Justice Alito. And the guns have been out for these dudes. You pay attention? 2 years. Trump gave them that much time to go after the conservative justices that Trump appointed. And that allowed some crazy guy from California to fly to Brett Kavanaugh's house with God knows what kind of intent and all of the goodies in his backpack, right? Donald Trump announcing his candidacy on November 15th of 2022 gave everybody 2 years, all of the prosecutors, the Jack Smiths, the Weisses, all of them, and the Fonnie Willises, all of these clowns. 2 years to work backwards and file all of these indictments, all of these criminal charges against Donald Trump. 91 of them. He gave them 2 years to prosecute more than 1,000 January 6th attendees, to get them all lumped together in this big net. And all of them, save what, 2, have been prosecuted. By coming down outside at Mar-a-Lago on November 15th of 2022, he gave them 2 years to push a radically progressive social agenda of suck that could put you and your family and your children in the crosshairs of some very ridiculous conversations. He gave us that, ladies and gentlemen. He gave us 2 years to open our eyes and see what is at stake. And I want to read to you something that he said that day. In order to make America great and glorious again, I am tonight announcing my candidacy for President of the United States. This will not be my campaign. This will be our campaign all together. And then he said, this is amazing. Anyone who truly seeks to take on this rigged and corrupt system will be faced with a storm of fire that only a few could understand, he said at one point, describing the legal and emotional toll his presidency and post-presidential period has taken on his family members. I have no doubt, Donald Trump said on that night, November 15th, 2022, that by 2024, it will sadly be much worse, and they will see clearly what has happened and is happening in our country, and the voting will be much different. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm not a big conspiracy theorist, but it's almost like he was telling us exactly what was coming and to get ready for it, because it was going to take and will take an army. That is what the left is so afraid of. And you're going to hear it all over today's program. It's actually delicious. All right, when we come back on the Wendy Bell radio program, my friends, the deep state's worst nightmare, people like Trump. What? Iowa is polling what? Wait till you get these numbers next on the Wendy Bell Radio Network. I flipped. He said, let's see.
He's the Juicy Smollett. Fake news, fake stories.
I want to tell you guys about, well, first of all, let me put it on. I'm going to do this with you. All right.
Boy, here we go.
So Dr. Jonathan Lakey, it's usually this eye right here, a world-known cosmetic surgeon, has created something that he's given to the wealthy, the A-listers in Hollywood. And it's this. It looks like a syringe, but it's not. There's just this white goo in it, which is magic. All right. And you put it on, you give it a few minutes, and it does something to fine lines and wrinkles and that like shadowing that I get. I mean, when you're in your 50s, it is what it is. Takes a couple minutes, and then you'll start to see this soften. All right. And I want to put it on now so that we can talk about it later. But Beverly Hills MD, BHMD, and then the number 1, BHMD1.com/Wendy. There is a video. It has been seen probably at this point more than 10 million times. And it goes through what this does, how it works. It's not rocket science. It's basic chemistry and light. And you will love it. And you will want to buy it. Because I've got these everywhere. Okay. BHMD1.com. They call it Photoshop for your face. Brock calls it my magic eraser. And I appreciate that. My magic eraser. If I can erase a little bit, soften a few things without being like, I'm all about it. Want me to do that again. BHMD1.com/Wendy. Watch the video. Just watch the video. Videos are so annoying. Not this video. Not this video. Because the payoff is like, yeah. How you doing? Sorry.
Tell me this Trump stuff doesn't remind you of Juicy Smollett.
You mean all of
Fake
the
story,
manufactured
fake investigations, fake trials, fake MAGAs, crazy guys, payments that are sketchy at best.
And a media breathlessly telling you about it. And then you've got Pelosi and Schumer and these other people who are like, oh, look at the Washington Post at this. In fact, Karine Jean-Pierre is all about the wrap-up smear today, right? We dissected it. She had a minute statement, and we broke it down into like 3 or 4 sound bites just so you could hear in surgical detail.
And the stories are, he paid a porn star hush money.
Right. Married to a supermodel, and I want to bang a porn star.
And here's the whole thing.
I can get
Went
anybody
to Subway
I want.
at 2 a.m. when it was freezing.
Yeah. It's as stupid.
Yeah, they're all stupid stories.
And then he left a noose on forever.
They can't even come up with a good story.
Where did the bleach get on your body? Man, if you're going to be... Okay, so we got some polling to drop on you. We're going to take it out to Iowa. And then we're going to play a little meme that I think is fantastic. And it takes us to The View, where this social media, like, I don't know, Brock, what would you call him? An influencer? What would you call Damon Amani?
I would. He makes a bunch of stuff with the media, making fun of them.
This is the guy who inserts himself into like a panel discussion. So he'll be sitting, it's like
usually The View. The View or CNN.
It looks like he's sitting down with Joy Behar and Sonny Hostin and whatever. And he does one with Jill Biden when Jill came on and she was talking about it's all about character and Donald Trump has none and her husband who's a dirtbag does. And then he inserts himself into it and creates the illusion that he was there having a conversation with them. And it's fantastic. So he's coming up in like 3 minutes. But before we get there, New York Post headline, Trump leads Biden by 18 points in Iowa. Here's your understatement of the hour. In troubling sign for president in 2024 swing states. You think? Former President Donald Trump seems slated to improve massively on his 2020 victory in Iowa, meaning President Biden could face even more trouble in swing states he, quote unquote, won nearly or narrowly that year, I should say. The Des Moines Register Mediacom Iowa poll. It's not a huge poll, whatever. This is why we just talk about it like chatty, right? 632 likely voters shows Trump leading Biden 50 to 32%. The survey included the third-party candidates. RFK Jr. gets about 9. Pollster Frank Luntz said the data should not be taken lightly. He said this. In 2020, Trump won Iowa by 8. Now, Iowa's best pollster shows him up by 18 in the state, which is bad news for Biden in more competitive Midwestern states like Wisconsin and Michigan. He noted that pollsters' final poll in October had Trump up points by 7, and he won by 8. So we got a little bit of a trend going on here. So it was in June 9th through the 14th, after Trump's conviction. They've tried everything to embarrass you about Donald Trump. They've tried everything to drive a wedge between you and this man. And what have you seen since November 15th of 2022? You have seen a surgically focused, calm, unflappable, consistent Donald Trump. They cannot stand that. This is what I'm talking about. Now, notably, this poll in Iowa found 76% of likely Trump voters and 81% of likely Biden voters. They're solid. They are where they are. They're not going to be swayed. But among all Iowa adults, Biden's approval rating is an anemic, Brock, 28%. And he does the worst among those under 35, with just 15% approving.
Well, even the haters don't like him because Meghan McCain, I don't know if you saw her tweet about this particular poll. She came out and said there is no way Trump wins Iowa and Biden even has a shot in Wisconsin. And she hates him.
Okay, so with that as let's say we've set the table with this Iowa poll, and you take from it what you will. It's an interesting trend, and there's a lot of time to go yet. I want you to hear this this is fantastic, sort of a deep fakes setup. Because in the next half hour, we're going to talk about the new claim that the right-wing media wants to manipulate videos to make Joe Biden look like he's more of a meanderer than he is, whatever. But this is meme maker, social media influencer Damon Imani, kind of imposing himself on The View and telling Jill Biden what she's allowing with Joe is essentially abuse. It's a fake, but it's funny. Go.
This election is not about age, but it's about character. So you have two choices. You have my husband, Joe, who you all know, who has integrity. He's strong, he's steady, he's a leader, he's smart, he's energetic. Or you have chaos. And my husband's, and you're going to see how smart he is and the experience he has. I believe that Americans are going to choose good over evil.
Okay, so Madam First Lady, respectfully, it's very bold of you to sit here and talk about good and evil, given your husband has demonized half of the country and continues to do so while prosecuting his political opponent. Now, Joe has been in politics for 48 years, including his presidency. Yet you have nothing to show for. Otherwise, you would have spent your time here talking about his actual accomplishments instead of saying empty words. And finally, I agree. This election is not about age. It is about being able to walk without getting lost. It is about being able to find your way off a stage. It is about being able to go up and down the stairs without falling. It is about being able to finish a sentence, all of which Joe is not able to do on a daily basis. I have seen it. People out there have seen it. Even Whoopi has seen it. I wish you were honest about it. And most importantly, you have seen it. We all know Joe is not well. We all know he's not in control. And listen, I'm not a fan of his, but I would say you should be ashamed of yourself for putting him through this and letting his handlers abuse him like a puppet. Shame on you.
Now, that is a fake insert of this guy pretending like he's on the set with the girls from The View and Jill Biden. But did you hear what he said? It's everything that you know. And it is the predicate of every word you're going to hear from Karine Jean-Pierre representing the White House. She's horrendous. This is where your box checking blows up in your face. And you're going to hear it from the media mouthpiece, Hack McHackey, Nicole Wallace. They are desperate to tell you, do not believe, do not trust your lying eyes. All right, let's go there. Take my hand. It's next on the Wendy Bell Radio Network. All right, let's see here. I want to tell you guys about getcert.com. I'm putting it in right now. There we go.
If you just scrolled to the under the Rumble, you could click on it.
Wow, maybe that's what I'll do. I'll just scroll down.
I'm drinking mine.
All right. So it asks you, how old are you? I'm going to say 50 to 59. How many pounds do you want to lose? Let's say I want to lose 10 pounds or less. Okay. All in the backyard area. How long have you been trying to lose weight? I'm going to go less than a month. I want more energy. I want my clothes to fit better. I want to feel more confident. I want to feel younger. I want to live a nutritional lifestyle. I want more energy. That's what I'm going to say. Okay. And then you go through it. Okay, let's go. I'm optimistic and I'm ready. And then it shows you what your options are. Your price. All right. So one jar on here, normally $69.95. Look, I'm going to tell you this lasts more than a month.
Yeah.
So
I
I'm going to
put a
say
dent
6
in mine.
weeks, 8 weeks, less than $1 a day. But then they took the price down. They knocked off $20 when you use getcert.com/Wendy. $49.95, free shipping. You can buy 3 jars. That's the most popular. Obviously, the best value is 6. They've got 4.6 stars based on customer reviews. What do you expect? Feelings of increased daytime energy and stamina. That's all I want. Easier weight management. Brock's going for that. Leaner and more toned appearance. I think both of us. Strong and limber feeling body. Yes. Sharp focus and fast thinking. Yes. Heightened sense of health and vitality. Yes, yes, and yes. Getcert.com/Wendy. Try it. Try it. Brock isn't even a week into it yet. All right. I've been doing it for a couple months now.
Well,
I like it.
I did not drink any on the weekend.
Right.
So, I mean, I keep it here. So I have it while I'm here. But
I'm going to run to the bathroom. I'll be right back. And Cert did not make me feel like I needed to do that. I just got to pee. Bye.
Okay. Well, she's gone. I'll tell you about BodyByAim360.com. The blood work special is over, but I still highly recommend you get it. Teaches you everything you need to learn about you. It's something you're not going to get from your PCP. They're not going to search for everything that you'll get through. I can't even remember how many different biomarkers. I should probably I just know it's a couple pages front and back. When I got my blood work, it was, I want to say 4 pages front and back. And it just tells you everything. He's like, do you have joint pain? I was like, yeah. He goes, yeah, stop eating so much bread. That causes inflammation in your joints. You have low T. I'm like, well, what's that mean? He goes, having a problem losing weight? I was like, I'm here. And he's like, low T does that. You need vitamin D. You have 0. I had like 8 and it's supposed to be way up there. And when I did the first program, I had to learn how to eat. Dairy is not my friend. Breads and grains aren't my friends. I can eat them in moderation, but now he has a thing called a Jumpstart program where it's tailored just to what I need. I don't need the whole shebang anymore. So there's a subscription. You pay a little subscription each month. You get exactly what you need. It's not a plan that's just cut out for everyone. It's exactly what you need. 412-227-9255, 412-227-9255, BodyByAim360.com.
There's an active shooter going on outside, Brock.
Outside right
up here on the road. Gary just said that they've got like 12, 13 cop cars.
I'm ready. The reason I'm ready. I got 6. I just need 1, maybe 2, 3 if I don't hit the right spot.
An active shooter. That's just freaking fantastic.
In the building or outside?
No. Would I come in here and be like, let's continue and break?
I would.
Continue our show?
Yeah. We'd cover it live from the studio where some guy has a gun, and then you guys would hear,
yeah,
and
it
would be me.
Yes. Okay.
Hey, for the longest time, this is the reason.
I know.
There was no security. No one was on our floor.
Rockstar is my hero. Everybody needs a guy.
I go nowhere without it.
I got a guy.
If you run into me at the Pirate game, probably the only place. But other than that.
And that's only because you have to leave it in the car.
Yes.
Or at home.
I typically don't bring it if I have to leave it in the car.
No, I understand. Shit. That's scary. I hate everyone. Don't you hate everyone? I don't want to hate everyone, but coffee does make it better. Thanks, D Nice.
D Nice. go to war with bull.
Welcome back to the Wendy Bell Radio program. All right, so the talking points were put out yesterday, maybe 2 hours after our show closed, right? After we wrapped and went home, maybe between 2 and 3, started to get little inklings of this new narrative. And the narrative is that you're not supposed to trust your ears when Joe Biden mumbles. You're not supposed to trust your eyes when you see him wander away, when you see little kids who have to take his hand and lead him somewhere, or Barack Obama put his hand on him and lead him off stage. This, ladies and gentlemen, according to the White House, according to the deep state, you're being faked out. You're being manipulated. Oh, that's rich. That's rich. I'm going to remind you of a quote. Very apropos quote today. This is from George Orwell's 1984. The party told you to ignore the evidence of your eyes and ears. It was their final and most essential command. Think about that. It's exactly right. The party told you to ignore the evidence of your eyes and ears. It was their final and most essential command. This is it. All right. So we're going to walk through a wrap-up smear that involves the setup, a hook, a line, and a sinker, all of which is encapsulated, unfortunately, in Karine Jean-Pierre, the box-checking extraordinaire White House press secretary. She's going to have a reporter set up, lob her the softball, and this is all because they want to claim there's this culture of manipulating videos, and artificial intelligence is making this a very suspicious time. And we're worried that if we are to release these Hur tapes, Special Counsel Robert Hur, the Republican guy, sitting down with Joe Biden and talking with him for multiple hours over 2 days, from which it was gleaned that Hur wasn't going to call any charges into question because he didn't think that Joe Biden will survive a freaking trial. He's a well-meaning, though forgetful, doddering goof, essentially. They want you to believe, instead of releasing the audio tapes, which would basically tell you everything you need to know, and you already know it, right? Because you can see and you can hear. They need to make this allegation that we can't let people get their hands on that. They'll manipulate it. Oh, please. So here is your setup to this idea of deceptively edited videos. They're going to say that the G7 summit, where Biden wandered away, dazed and confused, to go track down the parachutist and whatever, that didn't happen. That was selectively edited. That when he froze and looked like he had an accident in his pants, when the Juneteenth celebration at the White House, everybody was dancing and he was just like frozen like a statue. That was deceptively edited. And that when Barack Obama reached out because Joe on stage at the big Hollywood fundraiser the other night was totally somewhere else and needed to be guided, that was a deep fake. That was wrong. So let's begin, shall we? This is going to be fun. We're going to begin with the reporter, the planted reporter set up question, which allows Karine Jean-Pierre to read from her pre-written notes. Listen.
There seems to be a sort of rash of videos that have been edited to make the president appear especially frail or mentally confused. I'm wondering if the White House is especially worried about the fact that this appears to be a pattern that we're seeing more of.
There seems to be a rash of videos that have been selectively and deceptively edited. Really, where? Where? Like the George Floyd knee on the neck video that you guys put out? Where you alleged that it was Derek Chauvin who snuffed out the life of George Floyd, and it wasn't the noxious, toxic elixir of drugs and other things that he was on that day, even though the autopsy from the coroner told us that was the case. You mean like that, Mr. Reporter Hack? Well, I'm just so glad you are here to ask that question, reporter hack. Let me tell you exactly what's going on. Here is Karine Jean-Pierre, audio soundbite 1. Here is the wrap-up smear hook. They're dangling it in the water. Listen.
Yeah, and I think you all have called this the cheap fakes video, and that's exactly what they are. They are cheap fakes video. They are done in bad faith, and some of your news organization have been very clear, have stressed that these the right wing critics of the president have a credibility problem because of the fact checkers have repeatedly caught them pushing misinformation, disinformation, and so we see this, and this is something coming from your part of the world, calling them cheap fakes and misinformation.
See how Nancy Pelosi said that at the beginning with the wrap-up smear? We're going to leak something to the media, then we rely on you to go out there and push it. Write your articles, be breathless on TV, make sure, this just in, that's right, Jessica, I just got word, right? You people have called it deep fakes. No, they haven't. No, they haven't, because everybody has seen the video and you see it from multiple angles. Joe Biden has dementia. You can try to put lipstick on that pig. He's still demented, right? So that was the wrap-up smear hook. Now she's going to drop the line. All right, here it is. Karine Jean-Pierre, audio soundbite number 2. Now I've got to go out there and I've got to find a media outlet to quote, right? Oh, she found one. Listen.
I'll quote the Washington Post, where they wrote about this, and they said how Republicans use misleading videos to attack Biden in a 24-hour period. And to their credit, we have a conservative Washington Examiner did call them out as well, calling out the New York Post. Ironically, several recent cheap fakes actually attacked the president for thanking troops. That is what they're attacking the president for. Both in Normandy, this happened, and again in Italy. And I think that it tells you everything that we need to know about how desperate Republicans are here.
Is it like the desperation, Karine, about you guys saying that Donald Trump called Milwaukee a crap hole when he was talking about the crime and the issues living in Democrat hellscapes? Is it sort of like that? Is it sort of like the time that you guys said Donald Trump disparaged our troops? Is that sort of like, or about Charlottesville when he said that there were good people on both sides and you guys ran with that? It's sort of like, I mean, if you want, we could go on and on and on. So that was the line she just dropped in the water. Now she's got the sinker, right? Hook, line, and sinker. These right wingers don't want to talk about this president's strength, his accomplishments, his zeal, his gusto, how he's done so. What is it again that he's done for anybody? Let's listen.
And instead of talking about the president's performance in office, and what I mean by that is his legislative wins, what he's been able to do for the American people across the country, we're seeing these deep fakes, these manipulated videos, and it is, again, done in bad faith.
And I'm going to pound on this podium, done in bad faith. Listen to me. I'm very angry. It tells me to be. Well, Nicole Wallace over at NBC, she apparently got the same facts, because she's now going to come out and she's going to do the same dang thing. She's going to parrot Karine Jean-Pierre's right-wing media talking point, using deceptively edited videos to make Joe Biden look weak. Well, newsflash, Nicole. Dude is weak. Get him a wheelchair and an Afghan and some comfy slippers that my grandma used to knit with the little balls on top. Maybe we could hook him up with a pair. Go.
There's a growing and insidious trend in right-wing media, broadcast, print, and social media. It is to take highly misleading and selectively edited videos of President Biden directly from Republican National Committee social media accounts and then use those videos to spread messages virally to cast doubt on President Biden's fitness for office.
That's how it goes, Nicole. Yes, these videos, that's what's making people question his fitness for office. And they surely had to be manipulated, right? She's not done yet. In fact, here's a headline from the New York Post on Joe Biden needing Barack Obama to guide him off the stage. That's not really what happened. Now, those of you watching the live video stream, if you edit a video, you do it for a reason. If you show the full video of Joe Biden looking lost and Barack Obama finding him and taking his arm and guiding him off stage, it's exactly what we know it is. Joe Biden with dementia. Listen.
Here is this headline from the New York Post. Quote, Biden appears to freeze up, has to be led off stage by Obama at Megabucks LA fundraiser. The full video posted by Biden finance chair on Twitter shows something entirely different. Biden reacting to applause and then walking off stage with former President Obama.
Well, you can try that, Nicole. You can try that, but you've lied to us for years. So sorry, not buying what you're selling. And she goes on, wait a minute. The New York Post headline, meander in chief. That's not what happened at the G7 summit. He didn't wander away to a parachutist. Really? Listen.
It comes less than 1 week after the New York Post made a cover out of another piece of deceptively edited tape, calling him meanderer in chief due to what they claim was Biden walking away during a skydiving demonstration during the G7 summit last week. The only problem is that the full video, which emerged almost instantly, shows Biden was going over to congratulate one of the skydivers who's cropped out of the video entirely. Both the articles are based on cheap fakes, videos of real events that are intentionally manipulated to fool viewers, released on an RNC opposition research social media account with zero independent fact-checking by these so-called journalists and spread throughout the right-wing ecosystem.
All right-wing ecosystem. Oh, yeah. Zero independent fact-checkers, like all of yours who were groomed at the Poynter Institute of Suck Journalism. Nicole, is that sort of like, or the people from USA Today who are chosen, or people from, Oxford University because they tell the truth? Well, let's continue. She wraps this up, and this is the wait for it moment. Somehow, some way, we got to take a dig at Donald Trump. It's his fault, actually, don't you know? Mission accomplished, Nicole.
And we would take the hand-wringing by right-wing media about Biden's mental fitness in videos intentionally manipulated to make him look unfit, maybe a little more seriously if they weren't radio silent about the repeated glaring and real mental lapses happening behind podiums and on camera on the part of Donald Trump.
Nicole, it's the affected liberal white college educated chick who's the scourge of our United States. And the way they have to talk like that, it's just so offensive to everybody. Oh, I think she's feeling the heat, y'all. So when we come back on the Wendy Bell radio program, got to talk about the DOJ. They say that Merrick Garland, he's totally cool. He's above the law. Contempt of Congress. Not for him, but Steve Bannon, hells yeah, throw his butt in jail. Ooh, a little hypocrisy 101 for you coming up next. So
I'm seeing nothing on Twitter about said incident.
Yes.
Huh?
Yeah, I haven't been looking.
Where were they saying?
Why don't you go ask Gary real fast? I'm just going to talk about canoladine. And I'm delighted to do so because I said something to Brock that I have not said in the last 4 years. And I want to thank Clint Winters. This is the gentleman who's the pioneering medical scientist behind this. This is one of the products that it comes in, canoladine. They call it nature's morphine. It's as powerful as opioids without the effects of addiction, right? Withdrawal, all of that. You don't want to get addicted to pain medication, but it sure would be nice if something would zap into those pain receptors and say, settle down. Well, I've been using a canoladine sublingual, so a dropper underneath my tongue twice a day. And it's got to finally have connected completely with my pain sensation. Because I got up out of bed today And I instinctively started to limp to the bathroom and realized I had no pain. No pain. Tricono.com. Try, C-O-N-O, Canolidine is the product. Tricono.com/Wendy. Clint is, and we're going to do an interview with him and put it on the locals page so you guys can understand what this stuff is all about and how huge it is when you don't want to have a medicine cabinet full of drugs. I don't. So I rub this on my feet for topical pain, and in 15 minutes, 70% better. But to get up out of bed today and to not have to limp, I told Brock. Clint has unlocked $91 in savings for you. So these products, if you go to tricono.com/Wendy, are available at your fingertips. Try it. Try it. That's all I can say. I won't not use it. Period. And you don't get any of the weird drowsiness. You get no feelings of withdrawal. It's not like
really feel it at all.
It's not like that. Brock has had so much success with his knee. You twisted your knee yesterday climbing up here into the...
I did. I had to climb up to fix the...
Something was offline
TV.
And he needed to like reach up into the ceiling, and he did something weird with his knee on the way up, and he went, oh! And I was like, oh no. And so he took this and he went, give me that. And he just went all over his knee and he rubbed it in. And then I didn't hear from you.
It was about 45 minutes. And usually I stiffen up because I sit here for so long.
Right.
No, I don't rub it on her feet. She's on her own on that one.
Ew.
Yeah.
I love that, by the way, but my husband does that.
Yeah.
Thank you very much. I'm not interested in that.
Not interested
With a
in-
work friend.
Yeah. We
We do have boundaries. All right.
Maureen was telling me it's closer to the bottom of Green Tree Hill. So if you're in the Pittsburgh area, I would stay away from.
So yeah, what did you get?
We're far enough away.
Okay.
But that's why I go prepared.
I think doing this program and having you be here every day to receive it has helped me more clearly see the strategy, right? The ploy, the plan, the X's and O's of the deep state. And it's never about anything that's beneficial for us. And that's so disheartening. But once you're over that, once you realize how deeply these people suck, you can step back and go up a few thousand feet and more clearly see all of the pieces of the puzzle align on the table. And you have to use my 180-degree rule, which is what I say. When a Democrat points a finger over at somebody else, always a deep, or, an ultra right-wing person who's not. It's just somebody who's tired of being lied to. And they point a finger and they say, they're doing that. You can always bring it back on that same level, back to the person pointing the finger and say, clearly it's you. And we know that it's you. So going after anybody, remember 2 years they've had since November 15th of 2022, when Donald Trump came out and he said, look, we are up against something now 2 years into this presidency, and you guys have no idea what is coming. But by the time this election shows up in November of 2024, it will be critical. And you will know and you will understand what we are fighting. I started paying attention, right? To say that Steve Bannon, who decided to not oblige an appearance notice by the January 6th Committee of SOC, which is at its very face a garbage sham committee It is not bipartisan. It was not a committee of peers. It was a specifically hand-picked panel of people who are not good people. Liz Cheney, hack. Adam Kinzinger, fraud. Jamie Raskin, theatrical mascot. Benny Thompson, what did Rush Limbaugh call him? The walrus. And the list goes on and on and on. Steve Bannon, I'm not going to oblige you. I'm not going to sit in front of you because what you're doing doesn't hold water. Well, the DOJ is demanding the appeals court deny his emergency motion to delay his prison sentence. He's supposed to serve 4 months, specifically and strategically, starting next month, sometime in July to August, September, October. Oh, looky. Gets him off of the War Room podcast, which is hugely popular. Silence him, silence that platform, throw him away on purpose. And he's saying, you know what? We've got some legal cards to play yet. Normal people in this country have cards to play. And so do we. The DOJ is falling over itself to say, no, we want you to go to prison immediately. That tells you everything you need to know. Nicole Wallace or Karine Jean-Pierre trying to allege that the Republican Party is in some way nervous about the election coming forward. We have the platform. It is about safety. It is about family. It is about freedom. It is about law and order. It is about biology. It is about all of the things that you rely on and that you raise your family and your grandkids with, right? We don't need bells and whistles and games because the proof is every single day you're outside. But I want to read this to you briefly, just a few of the paragraphs, because this is how much bigger these people believe they are, how much more above the law they really believe themselves to be. The DOJ has requested an appeals court deny an emergency motion that Steve Bannon, a former advisor to Trump, filed as he attempts to delay an upcoming prison sentence. In a court filing from Monday, the DOJ argued Bannon's emergency motion seeking release pending the final resolution of his appeal fails to, quote, show a substantial question likely to result in reversal or a new trial as required for release. They're playing all of the legal shenanigans, semantic games. Well, the law says this and this and this. Well, what about Merrick Garland running interference for Joe Biden, refusing to release the Her tapes because he knows that if Americans heard how freaking horrendously demented Joe Biden is, there isn't a snowball's chance in hell. Even his most loyal brethren, the most anti-Donald Trump people out there would still vote for Biden after that. So we don't need to do a deep dive into these headlines to see what the play is. The play is for thee, but not for me. We have rules you must abide by. But because these are such dangerous times, we must be above the law. Kind of like Zelensky is above being part of a presidential election in his country. So he'll wave the wand. Oh, it's war. I must stay in charge. Really? When we come back, hour 2, Blacks for Trump is real, people. It is real. And Harry Enton proves it next. Truly mesmerizing, isn't it? Let's see how many rumbles we have. 11-8 watching. Wow, that's a great number. A great number on a sun-splashed summer Tuesday.
Our guy hooked us up.
What?
We were in editor's pick.
Oh, Siraj. I do love me some Siraj from Rumble. He's pretty top notch. All right. Where do we want to go? I want to talk to you guys. Well, go ahead.
If you guys hit see more below all the links to the sponsors are there. So you just got to click on it. It takes you right to the sponsor, to our her
links,
because that makes a difference.
You know, the idea of this Patriot switch that I talk about all the time, I just give you 1/8 of 1% of what it's all about. Because the number of people who, through this radio program and through our partnership with Patriot Switch, a movement for Americans to switch how they spend their money and where, and I'm talking about specific goods, 450 different kinds of products, all of which are about helping you live healthfully and the most well you can. So products with no chemicals, no wonky ingredients that make your teeth feel cleaner than ever. The soap, the shampoo and conditioner, the mop and the floor cleaner and the polish that make your house look like you just had your floors refinished, right? All of it, to the laundry detergent, the whitening agent that you can put in with your clothing so it pops when you take it out. Every single product that is made by Patriot Switch is made in America by American workers. They are made in the cleanest, most reasonable environments. I've been to the corporate headquarters in Idaho Falls. It is pristine. Pristine. But it's more than that. It's more than products. It's more than being a part of the Riverbend Ranch meats. No antibiotics, no hormones, right? It's about belonging to a community and growing individual businesses. And this is what a lot of the folks who start as shoppers end up moving out and telling people about it. Hey, you know, my sister-in-law, brother-in-law, you might want to join me on this endeavor, and then signing them up to be shoppers too, and then having this grow out and make a lot of income, a lot of supplemental income for their family. I can't tell you enough what this means. PatriotSwitch.com/Wendy. Go there if you're interested in learning more. Put in your name, your email address, and your phone number, and don't be averse to somebody calling you. Be open to that. Be open to the conversation, because we'll teach you what you want to know. And I think you're really, really going to be delighted. Look, these people are fiddling with our food supply. I don't need them fiddling with the chemicals in our homes, especially with kids, dogs, animals. PatriotSwitch.com/Wendy.
And for those who haven't downloaded the app yet, we're going to start putting a poll question on the app, not daily, but maybe a couple times a week. Someone on the Rumble stream yesterday asked if we could put a poll up asking, have you ever been polled for a presidential election? So that pulls up on the app right now. 81% of the people say no. 18% said yes. Now it's only 38 votes, but please download the app. It's in both app stores.
Hi, Demanda. Hi, Sherry. Hi, Glow. We got some great moderators, some great regulars, frequent flyers. You guys are here hours before the show even begins. It is a great community. If you ever feel like you're wayward or you're by yourself wherever you live with your values, you're not. You can go to our Rumble page. You can go to the app and you can click in and rumble before the show and then start on the live chat. We have thousands of people who do that. And it's very gratifying to us. Brock will put up the feed and it's like 4:45, 5 o'clock. And people are already waiting to be number one for a show that starts 4 hours later. It's great.
People on the website asking what's the app under. So in the Apple store, it's Wendy Bell Radio Network. For Google, it's WBR Wendy Bell Radio. But why Google? Don't even get me started. But if you just search Wendy Bell Radio,
we're not
RTA
hard
will
to
come
find.
up.
Yeah, we're not hard. Oh, standing red. Thanks, $10. Yes, I do think there will be election. Because if not, I think there will be a civil war.
I look back, just like in your monologue, Donald Trump had to be calm and say, here's what it is.
I remember
and now you have 2 hours or 2 years of I don't have to say it. Watch.
Just watch.
It's a bad, bad movie.
Yes, I don't disagree. You and I need to get a timeline together too on goals that we have to hit for merch dropping at certain times. I think coming in late summer and getting merch out to people before the holiday.
Yeah, we're gonna have
all of that. Is we're gonna crank things up a bit, and I think it's going to be good. But we want to make sure we have all the ducks in a row. So
we know some of the things we want to put up. We just got to get it. And please email me if it's ideas that you guys have. I mean, we might not use them all.
wbrbrock@gmail.com. By the way, 11,878 of you. Remember, we are a radio show, so we just live stream it to show you all of the warts and wrinkles and everything.
And you'll see
behind
them.
the scenes, and you do see them. So all sorts of technical issues. Not
although
common,
Wendy
but
did fix the technical issue this time.
I'm an idiot. That's why.
See, I tried to give you a little kudos.
I can call a spade a spade. I was mentally challenged today, but I did fix it. So yay for me.
Well, fix it's kind of.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Wendy Bell. Inspiring solutions to save America one show at a time. Are you ready to get on board?
They believe that they can destroy this bond that exists between you and Trump if they somehow make Trump look bad, make Trump look like a reprobate, embarrass you about Trump. They can't do it because you came before Trump. Desperately want Trump gone, and I know that they desperately want it codified, that Trump cannot run again, because make no mistake, they remain scared to death of you, and they remain scared to death of Trump. Trump, 75 million, 80 million votes. And I'm going to tell you, you're not going anywhere. Even if Trump does, you're not. Which I think remains one of our big campaign strengths going forward. They can't separate you from Trump. And more importantly, they can't separate you from the ideas. They can't separate you from MAGA. They can't separate you from Make America Great Again.
From sea to shining sea, 3 hours of bold truth and excellence. The Wendy Bell Radio Program.
Well. When Donald Trump makes it to the South Bronx and can poll 30,000 people, when Donald Trump can go to Detroit and stop by a black church, when Donald Trump can poll plus 18 in Iowa, when Donald Trump polls ahead of Joe Biden in Pennsylvania, it's panic time. And it's panic time. There's a reason I so enjoy Harry Enton over at CNN. I think it's very cool that as a young man who was born the year I graduated from high school, so my love for him is strictly platonic, right? He decided to, at Dartmouth, carve out a path for himself in journalism that was based on polling. It was data-driven reporting, which I think we're all hungry for. You hope the numbers aren't manipulated, but somehow when Harry Enton seems to deliver them on CNN as their senior data analyst, I believe them. And here he is with what's his face, John Berman. John Berman, who's no Trump lover, but is going to have to tell you the truth about black support for him, right? Let's get John's favorite anchor voice ready, locked and loaded, get guttural, yeah. And Harry, effusive, dropping the bombs at the magic monitor. And the story is, oops, Blacks for Trump is actually real. Yeah, it is. In this audio soundbite, number one, Harry Enton says this is historic. This has the potential, if the numbers I'm seeing of Black supporters for Donald Trump, if this continues, you're going to see something that we haven't seen for a GOP candidate in 6 decades. Listen.
CNN senior data reporter Harry Enton is with us. So where does the race stand among African-American voters right now?
Yeah, I keep looking for this to change, to go back to a historical norm, and it's simply put, has not yet. So this is the margin, or Biden and Trump among black voters, compare where we were at this point in 2020, compare where we are now. You know, at this point, look at this. In 2020, Joe Biden was getting 86% of the African-American vote. Look at where it is now. It's 70%. That's a 16-point drop, John. And more than that, it's not just that Joe Biden is losing ground, it's that Donald Trump is gaining ground. You go from 7%, single digits at this point in 2020, to now 21%. And again, John, I keep looking for signs that this is going to go back to normal, and I don't see it yet in the polling. If anything, right now we're careening towards a historic performance for a Republican presidential candidate, the likes of which we have not seen in 6 decades.
60 years, ladies and gentlemen. Since 2020, Joe Biden has lost 16% of the black vote. That is ginormous. And Donald Trump has tripled his support among black voters from 7%, and we've seen that 7-8%, all the way up to 21% today. Well, now, tell us, Harry, tell us a little bit more about the 21% who support Donald Trump today. Tell us what's behind that. It's such a setup. People have eyes and ears and pocketbooks. They have to pay taxes and get gas and buy groceries. They need to buy baby formula and diapers, and they have utilities they need to pay. There's car insurance. There's everything. What could it possibly be, Harry, with these black voters somehow liking Donald Trump? They know what it was like before, and it didn't suck. I'm just going to give you that as my synopsis. But here's the actual exchange. Audio soundbite 2.
And when you dig into this number here, what is the makeup of that number?
This is where we get very interesting. So I decided to dive deeper into the crosstabs, figure out where is it that Joe Biden is truly struggling among black voters. All right, so this is black voters, Biden versus Trump margin. Look at black voters age 50 and older, and you'll see, look, Joe Biden was leading amongst this group at this point by 83 points back in 2020. Now it's 74 points. So yeah, a slight decline in that margin, but nothing out of this world. Look at black voters under the age of 50. Holy cow, folks. Holy cow. Look at this. Joe Biden was up by 80 points among this group back at this point in 2020. Look at where that margin has careened down towards. It's now just, get this, 37 points. That lead has dropped by more than half, Mr. Berman. I just never seen anything like this. I'm like speechless, because you always look at history and you go, okay, this is a historic moment. If this polling is anywhere near correct, we are looking at a historic moment right now where black voters under the age of 50, which have historically been such a big part of the Democratic coalition, are leaving it in droves.
You can only lie for so long. You can only tell people that if they don't vote Democrat, they're not black for so long. You can only force black families into failed public schools where their kids have fallen through the cracks for so long. And Godspeed to the black Americans under the age of 50. In 2020, 80% supported Joe Biden. Today, the number is 37% of blacks under 50. What? Well, now, let's bring in a third-party candidate, shall we? How does this affect these numbers, Harry? Well, let's listen.
What's the impact of third-party candidacies here, Robert Kennedy Jr.?
Yeah, all right. So obviously we have third-party candidates this year with the two major party candidates being so disliked. All right, so this is black voters, Biden versus Trump in the battleground states. This was according to a poll last month from the New York Times, Siena College. Again, looks very similar to what we see nationally, right? Joe Biden at 63, a very poor position for a Democratic candidate, Donald Trump at 23%. If we add Robert F. Kennedy Jr. to this, look at where Joe Biden drops to. Less than half the vote among black voters, less than half the vote among black voters in the battleground states. Donald Trump drops as well to 14%, so not quite nearly as historic. But look at this, RFK with 11%. You basically have a legitimate sort of three-way race here. Yeah, Joe Biden well ahead, but with less than 50% of the vote. John, I never thought I would see something like this among black voters.
And for those questioning who Robert Kennedy would hurt more, at least in these numbers, in this measurement right here, Biden loses 14, Trump loses 9. So it's clearly Joe Biden.
It's exactly right. It seems to me this is, yes, it's partially a artifact of Donald Trump perhaps being better liked among black voters, but it's also a real artifact of Joe Biden being significantly less liked among black voters than he was 4 years ago.
Amazing. Absolutely amazing. So now you would think that Mitch Landrieu, who is a Biden campaign hack, would look at these numbers and be like, Houston, we have a problem. But that would involve intellectual integrity. That would involve somebody in the deep state saying, snap, we got something to do. We need to reach these people. You have a Biden administration machine that is incapable of changing course, that is incapable of telling the truth, which is why they rely on the bribed and blackmailed media propagandists who are in their pocket, and why they rely on calling very specific people to ask very specific questions. Listen to this guy, see a campaign advisor to Joe Biden, be asked about the hemorrhaging of the black vote. Do you think you get integrity, or do you think you get suck? Go.
Well, first of all, it's going to be a very close election. Every one of them is. Secondly, there's no universe in which Donald Trump is going to get 21% of the black vote. That's never going to happen.
There is no universe. May we please save that in perpetuity, because somehow that's going to come back and it's going to be ugly for a lot of people. And if you don't take this white 54-year-old mom of 5 sons word for it, maybe you will take a black rapper from Detroit's word for it, because they know what they see. They hear it and they see it. Go.
I don't agree with everything about President Trump. I don't agree with 100% everything that anybody does. However, I'm not voting based off of personal feelings. I'm voting based off personal experience. I've experienced Trump as president. I've experienced Joe Biden as president. And I like the way I like Trump as president more.
I like life under him more. Huh. Now, you're not supposed to say that, right? It's all about deep fakes. It's all about manipulating things and making Joe Biden look weak. We don't need to make Joe Biden look weak. He's pretty good at that himself. But you notice how they never tout his agenda, because it sucks. When we come back to respond to this brutal, blistering data about black voters under 50, the Biden campaign has released a new ad, $50 million campaign ad buy through the end of this month. What's the ad all about? Is it about Joe? Come on, man. Next on the Wendy Bell Radio Network. Dipsticks. All right, let me tell you guys about someone who I really care about, who does really amazing work, and you need to know about it, because I know we have a lot of people tuning in from all around the country. In fact, multiple foreign countries. So welcome to all of you as well. So in Pittsburgh, there is a man named Dr. Charles Simkovich. And many years ago, decades ago, he started focusing on specifically traumatic brain injury, which is an umbrella comment, or the umbrella field under which concussion is nestled. And whether you get in an accident, car accident, you fall down, you're skiing, you have somebody who served in the military who came back scrambled from war, you have a kid who got concussed on the soccer pitch, you need to know where to go. And it's not to your PCP, because they don't know what the hell they're doing in terms of something specific like a brain injury. Dr. Simkovich, because this is what he does. SimkovichConcussionInstitute.com. Put that in your computer, bookmark it. SimkovichConcussionInstitute.com, 412-366-3700. Okay. This is a testimonial for him, which I just love. Thank you for this treatment. Maya's reading assessments showed that she gained 6 months of reading ability in the 5 weeks following her therapy. We're forever grateful. Wendell and Janelle Glick. How about this? After suffering a concussion and whiplash, my son struggled for 9 months despite various therapies. Fortunately, he found Dr. Simkovich, and after intense treatment, he experienced significant improvement. 6 weeks later, he was back playing hockey and doing great, excelling in school. We are incredibly grateful. It's Jody Garlick from Pittsburgh. Dr. Simkovich is by far the best, from Marcy Lyons in Coatesville, Pennsylvania. We know people who've specifically come to Pennsylvania to meet with Dr. Simkovich to get the healing and the help and the hope that he gives. 412-366-3700. I wouldn't tell you if it wasn't true. SimkovichConcussionInstitute.com.
Do you think he can fix my grammar?
No, I think, unfortunately, he's not a miracle man. He's not a miracle worker. Man, do I have to go to the bathroom.
Again?
Yes. I've had multiple cups of coffee.
I only had one.
I have had multiple waters. And now I enjoy sipping on my cert juice because it's sweet without being like, and it's just delicious. I love it. So I kind of nurse it, but yeah. I've got excess liquid. By the way, to the young lady who sent me the swimwear, the very patriotic swimwear, thank you. That was very sweet of you. Very, very sweet. I really like the black rapper from Detroit. I know he doesn't get into detail, but I know. I've lived under Trump. I've lived under Biden. I like life better under Trump. Duh. What were you going to say?
That's it. Ask people about their 401ks. I know people hate when you talk about 401ks, but.
Oh, remember when I talked about that after the shutdown lasted more than just the 15 days to stop the spread? Slow the spread. Really?
No, I don't remember.
I know. You never pay. You never pay attention. All right, so in order to fight back against Donald Trump's soaring poll numbers, and I'm going to say this, he's not tweeted, right? He's on Truth and he does his own thing on Truth, but it's not excessive. It's factual. It was an avenue for Donald Trump to express his views, during which, many times when he was muzzled, but he couldn't really say that much there. He joined TikTok again, or he joined TikTok. I don't know if he's had any activity, save for that one fight. But he's going where the people are. He's going to go to Philadelphia this Saturday for an evening rally. And if you're a Democrat or an independent, or you're on the fence, specifically if you're a minority and you've been fed generations of comments about who the Democrats are to you vis-a-vis the Republicans, go to teamred.com, get your tickets, go walk around, feel the vibe, and see if it's exclusionary to you or not. I want you to hear the $50 million ad that's going to be playing ad nauseum across the airwaves through the end of this month. It is not something that touts Joe Biden's mental acuity, his legislative accomplishments, his fine humanitarian skills, his efforts in averting war, because he can't run on any of that. He has to run on Donald Trump is bad. Donald Trump is a convict. Donald Trump, criminal, felon, all of it. How could you elect this man president again? Is that really a winning strategy? You decide. Listen.
In the courtroom, we see Donald Trump for who he is. He's been convicted of 34 felonies, found liable for sexual assault, and he committed financial fraud. Meanwhile, Joe Biden's been working, lowering healthcare costs and making big corporations pay their fair share. This election is between a convicted criminal who's only out for himself and a president who's fighting for your family.
I'm Joe Biden, and I approve this message.
Joe Biden's been working, it says. Joe Biden has been off. On vacation, mentally somewhere else, not physically on the job. 40% of his presidency. It's an all-time record. That's on the job? Really? Forcing corporations to pay their fair share, but not his son or his own criminal family enterprise, where he is insulated from obvious payments received from multiple foreign countries, the shell companies, the family members. Joe Biden, the family man, who does not acknowledge his 7th grandchild in Navy, Hunter's daughter. Joe Biden, the family man. Really? So that's the story. $50 million ad buy through the end of June. Now, do people who donate, is this George Soros money? Who knows? Is it Act Blue? Probably. Sam Bankman-Fried, sadly, he's not around anymore, to funnel all of this money for Act Blue and to launder it and get it into the coffers of Democrats and other noteworthy people who suck, right? To deflect, to create the illusion of strength, prosperity, ideas, a renaissance, if you will. No. Because you know what you get. You get the devolving of America. You get America in retrograde. You get America's revisionist history, where you're supposed to hate people based on what they look like. And if you don't vote a certain way and you don't do a certain thing, then you're not worthy. Ew. It takes us back to the very opening of this program where I said to you, remember, from George Orwell's 1984, this was the line. The party told you to ignore the evidence of your eyes and ears. It was their final and most essential command. Did you guys see any of the video of Julia Roberts and George Clooney with Barack Obama, with Bill Clinton ostensibly, with Joe Biden at this Hollywood fundraiser where they allegedly raised $28 million, blah, blah, blah? Do you notice how nobody seems joyful to be standing there with these people? It's almost as though there's an invisible gun to their heads, as though this is part of their payoff of whatever bribe, whatever blackmail they were a part of. This is why, what's his name? Robert De Niro, seemed almost discombobulatedly dark outside of Donald Trump's Manhattan courtroom. He seemed as though he had to deliver these lines. It's very uncomfortable. When we come back on the Wendy Bell radio program, do you believe this? Do you believe this possible secret Democrat plot to replace Joe Biden after next week's debate? It's floating around out there like a Chinese spy balloon. I've got it for you next.
You have to love that commercial. Joe Biden, the family man. Should they mention that he showered with his daughter? Should they mention that Tara Reid has accused him of sexual assault, but never looked into? He talks about health care. I pay just under $1,000 a month. So telling me that healthcare is affordable, I'm not buying it. Are you buying it? My healthcare costs are through the roof. All the stuff that he's working for families. Well, what's the stat that you need $11,000 more dollars than you did 4 years ago? How many people got an $11,000 raise? Everything Joe Biden has done has been a tax on middle class and lower income. Julia Roberts doesn't care because Julia Roberts has enough money. It's Mark Cuban saying he won't vote for anyone that doesn't believe in climate change while he has a fleet of jets. And he's okay with paying his fair share. Well, of course he is. He has lawyers to get him out of paying taxes. I'd love to see Mark Cuban take zero deductions. And let's see how Mark Cuban appreciates the tax structure. Donald Trump said it best back at the debate in 2016 with Hillary Clinton. I'm smart because I used a tax code. And you know how I know you won't change the tax code? Because your donors and your supporters use the same things that I use to get out of paying taxes. So I've heard enough from the Mark Cubans and all the people who about they're paying their fair share. These are people who have money. $11,000 more needed to live your life now is not going to make a difference to them.
Did you see Dr. Phil break that down?
Yeah.
That was amazing. I was like, dude is awake. It is remarkable when you see people awaken and you're like, yeah, my man, what you think I've been talking about, Willis? Why do you think I got fired?
Just in that commercial, I was saying when you went to the bathroom, healthcare costs are lower. Really? I pay almost $1,000 a month.
Yeah. And where are they lower? Yeah, my deductible's out the wazoo.
Yeah.
And I know because I have to go freaking get orthotics in my feet because I'm hobbled and I got to pay out of pocket for them. Thanks, insurance. Great policy.
Oop.
All right, let's see where we are. We at 2.5 yet? Almost. Come on, guys. You know that we've got to get to that 3,000 mark. That's huge. And Brock doesn't think that in the next 2.5 minutes, we could get 500 people. I personally have total faith in you because there's 11,000 of you watching. Why wouldn't you come on over and click that cute little thumbs up button? Oh, it looks so friendly.
Did you tell them how I'm going to fix my back from carrying you?
Oh, no. I'm not sure I'm aware of that.
Oh.
What is it?
I gotta go see Dr. Richard Rafferty.
It's ridiculous. That's offensive. Almost as offensive as cutting yourself right here. Who cuts themselves here with a knife? Oh, somebody who's trying to peel into or cut into a peach and go. I'm like, that hurts. That hurts. Good work. So this is an article from the Daily Mail. Again, this is one of those reasons why it's really cool to be part of our locals page because you get the whole rundown, right? You get everything that we put out there so that you guys can check for yourself and verify and make the best decisions for you and the people you love. I say it every day. It's an old, broken record, but it's not. Check us. If I'm wrong, I'll tell you I'm wrong.
I'm going to see if I can get a picture of the softball team tonight.
Oh.
I'll put it on locals.
That's so nice. Ugh, I hate being able to feel a hair in my shirt.
The sound effects.
I know, right? Very demonstrative. What do you mean? What's that?
You do that sound effect too.
It's more like. Oh, it's funny. Oh, I can feel it. You son of a mother.
I can see it.
No, you can't.
I know.
It's stuck in my bra. Sounds like a me problem.
Wow.
Okay, I'm better now. Thanks. Do we get it?
Probably not.
Welcome back to the Wendy Bell radio program. Hey, and I really do want to extend a warm welcome to everybody who pays attention to us on the podcast. You know, we have a great podcast producer. His name is Bob Sloan, and he cuts the 3 hours down into segments, 3 40-minute segments, so you can take us with you wherever you go. Wendy Bell Radio, get the podcast wherever you get your favorite listening material. Download us onto your phone. And when I tell you 2.5 million people already have, that's mind-bending. And it's true. All right, so I want to read this to you. I'm curious about what you guys think, all right? Because you know that this Democrat machine, the deep state, the various players, it's not Biden. They're not just watching his demise. They're calculating how much he's falling apart, how much we're paying attention to it, and how much they can, whether you want to say it's cheating, manipulating, stacking the deck, whatever it is, this is honestly what's going on. There is a plan, and there's something that's being kicked around that I think is kind of interesting that we should talk about. And it's this idea that behind the scenes, you have Barack Obama, you have Bill Clinton, you have Chuck Schumer, who doesn't know how to grill hamburgers. What a schmuck. And you have Nancy Pelosi, who's just desperate with her pterodactyl hands for her dentures not to fall out. It's so difficult to pay attention to these people because they're just awful. Okay? That's my personal feeling. It is what it is. DailyMail.com has this headline. All right? Not going to tell you if it's true or not, but I can see it. I can see it. Headline. Exclusive. Bah, bah, bah. Secret Democrat plot to replace Biden revealed. How Clinton, Obama, Pelosi, and Schumer would topple the aging president and when they would do it. Okay. All right, let's go there. Nearly every time President Joe Biden appears in public these days, he fuels the chatter. Will aging Joe bow out of the 2024 race? Will he be forced to step aside? I don't think that's what we're asking. Is this dude going to make it from his hyperbaric chamber to the debate podium? And we heard some scut, though it's not confirmed, that the DNC wants to make it seated. They want the debate to be seated. Can't tell you if that's factual or not. I wouldn't be surprised, right? In the latest incident, former President Barack Obama was seen Saturday reaching for Biden's hand and seemingly guiding the 81-year-old meander-in-chief, I added it, not them, off the stage at a Los Angeles fundraiser. That came after Biden stood motionless and stared blankly for a full minute at a Juneteenth celebration at the White House Monday as others sang and danced around him. Eventually, the brother of the late George Floyd noticed Biden's concerning pause and wrapped his arm around him to help. Always somebody able there to come in and help out. White House spokesperson Andrew Bates is denying that Biden froze in the viral video, calling it a, quote, cheap fake memo being spewed by the media. Look, I've been on TV a lot of my life, 30 years and counting. When you edit something, there's a reason you edit it. If you want to show authentic, real life video, you let the shot go in its entirety, context and all. And they edited these videos to tell you that the right-wing media are all about deceptive editing, et cetera, et cetera. Okay. It's the idea that somehow, some way, the president will be swapped out as the Democratic Party's candidate ahead of the 2024 election, calling it the great Joe Biden replacement theory. This is being pushed out there. Seems no matter how much cold water the Biden campaign or the Democrat Party throw on this raging fire of speculation, Americans are obviously thinking about it. How are they going to take out the hook? How does it work? When does it happen? Who goes in his stead? Dropping out would be a big risk, but there's some threshold below which continuing to run is a bigger risk. This is Nate Silver, the polling guru, writing on social media last week. Are we there yet? I don't know, he says, but it's more than fair to ask. Silver, who is the founder of the website 538, which just yesterday announced the results for the first time, Trump is ahead of Biden nationally, according to them, noted that Biden's average approval rating had reached a new low of 37.4%, and that chief among voter concerns is his age, which Silver concluded to be an extremely understandable concern as Biden looks and acts his age and is a huge outlier to ask for the job until the age of 86. Atlantic columnist Mark Leibovich cruelly stamped the president Ruth Bader Biden earlier this month. It's a reference, obviously, to the late Supreme Court justice who once angered some liberals by refusing to retire during Obama's presidency and instead gave Trump the ability to put in somebody else instead. James Carville, the political mastermind behind Bill Clinton's presidential campaigns, said flat out this month that Biden should not have run for re-election. Okay, now they're in this situation, right? Last-ditch effort by Biden's backers to silence his critics inside the party may prove to be his ultimate undoing. According to Democratic bigwig Obama campaign guru David Axelrod, this is who they trot out when they want to float something by you guys. The Biden team scheduled one of the earliest presidential debates in history, which is June 27th, next week on CNN. Isn't that next week? When is that? To prove, when is it, Brock?
Do you know
what day of the week that is? I don't remember what day of the, I didn't even check, so sorry. For some reason, it's important to me. To prove to naysayers that Joe isn't going anywhere. But the gambit carries tremendous risk. While an efficient debate performance by Biden could help rally Democrats behind him, a significant misstep would only stoke more replacement chatter. Former Clinton advisor and polling expert Mark Penn suggested the CNN debate will be Biden's last chance to reassure voters that he's fit for the job. Are they really trying to reassure voters or the people who are in charge of taking him out? We'll see. They've deliberately thrown down the gauntlet for an early debate, Penn said, and I think that's going to be the point at which Americans judge. Is he ready for another term or not? Dude, we knew years ago. Please. Now dailymail.com has learned that if Joe stumbles in that first face-off with Trump, or if his polling numbers keep falling, it'll take a united front of the liberal grandees to make Joe throw in the towel. Quote, the only people who could force him out would be Barack Obama, Bill Clinton, Nancy Pelosi, and Chuck Schumer, one Democratic strategist told dailymail.com. It would have to be the four of them collectively, and the process would be high risk. One consultant theatrically described the difficulty level of replacing their candidate as similar to trying to turn that doomed container ship that careened into the Francis Scott Key Bridge in Baltimore in May. That sad story ended with a total collapse and 6 deaths. But other party insiders concede that the candidates' swap could work out if everything was carefully planned and executed. Political columnist Joe Klein theorized in a recent newsletter that if Biden were to stand down, a vigorous young candidate, don't ask me who, could win over the country with a single convention speech in August. Really? In Klein's scenario, the Democratic Party savior would deliver an Obama-esque inspirational speech, akin to Barack's famous 2004 Democratic Convention address that would quickly bring together disaffected Democrats and moderate independents. I don't think so, friends. Plus, wrote Klein, the Democratic Party's prodigious dislike of Trump would unite any disaffected factions behind a new nominee. However, there's another potential complication. As the recognized leader of the Democratic Party, a stubborn Biden could refuse to step down and fight on to Election Day, even as the party grows more exasperated with his performance. Biden is fiercely proud of his first-term accomplishments, which he dubiously boasts are more significant than other modern presidents' triumphs. Really? Though to be fair, Biden was the one who beat Trump in 2020. Right. Additionally, while Biden respects former House Speaker Pelosi, Bill Clinton, and Senate Majority Leader Chuck Schumer, his growing resentment of Obama has become painfully clear. The former president famously backed Hillary Clinton in 2016 over Joe in the Democratic primary and even reportedly tried to stop his vice president from running in 2020. Ironically, both Barack and Michelle Obama appear to have intentionally kept their distance from the Biden White House, knowing that their public appearances trigger nostalgia from the days when voters liked their nominees. Obama misses whatever you want to say about that, who has no close personal feelings for the Bidens, according to one well-connected Democratic source, flat out ignored any invitation to appear at a White House state dinner with the Kenyan president, with Joe and Jill. I don't know. There's an element of this that I believe in and an element of it that's totally ridiculous. Who do you put in? Gavin Newsom? Honestly, who's your person? Gretchen Whitmer? Liz Cheney? Who's your person? Who do you got? And can that person, arguably, from June 27th through November 5th, when we all ostensibly will vote, if you haven't already by mail, 75 times, just kidding, that would be fraudulent. Will that person be able to create enough of a buzz so that it would be too big to rig? That's really the question. So CNN apparently has issued some controversial presidential debate rules. You guys hear about this? I did on Breitbart today. The new rules come after Trump said in March that he would obviously debate Biden anywhere, anytime, any place, putting pressure on Biden to participate. The Biden campaign agreed in May, a total of 2 debates, closely regulated. Curious that one is so earliest ever. Now you know why. CNN announced additional parameters on Saturdays, though these people are the keepers of the archives. 2 commercial breaks are going to be included, likely to benefit Biden. God knows when they get called, probably when he's struggling. Campaign staff will not be able to interact with their candidate during the break. Check for an earpiece. No opening statements, 2-minute closing statements only. 2-minute answer shot clock, 1 minute for rebuttals. Mics will be muted except for the candidates whose turn it is to speak, likely to benefit Biden again. Okay. Biden is planning to spend about a week preparing to debate. Trump believes his opponent should receive a drug test before the debates. Test them all. Test everybody in the damn administration. It's what I want to know. Is everybody high? Because their lies are just beyond logical dreamscape sense. Pharmaceutical intervention, right? Seems to make sense. All right, when we come back on the Wendy Bell Radio Network, let's talk about Montgomery County, Maryland. Do you guys hear about this? Teen crime is up a staggering 300%. That's what you get when you don't enforce the law and you defund the police, you moron Democrats. Well, thank goodness they've got a plan. And it involves Slurpees. Oh, yeah. Next on the Wendy Bell Radio Network. Ridiculous. You know, it's not Dr. Rafferty and what he does, the Disc Institute of Pittsburgh. I'm just going to say it. What he does to help people with a therapy that's non-surgical to allow their discs that have been bulging or herniated, that have slipped out of position and that cause so much pain, to be able to have them regenerate and to provide that cushion in between the vertebrae so you don't get that bone-on-bone nerve-pinching grind. That's what he does. Dr. Richard Rafferty at the Disc Institute of Pittsburgh. PittsburghDiscInstitute.com. PittsburghDiscInstitute.com. 412-906-9600. 412-906-9600. Just a great place. 98% successful, intradisc neutrosis. Ask about it. Call. They'll help you. They're wonderful. All right, let's see.
Maureen's wondering if we'll be able to leave. She says it's blocked between the bottom of the hill and the top of the hill.
Really? That's not good. Because I can, I also want to thank Ireland Contracting here. You guys, if you live in southwestern Pennsylvania and you go to IrelandContracting.com, you can see if Ireland Contracting services your zip code. And look, this is a great time to take advantage of 0% financing for 36 months for whole house new windows. They are a certified Pella window installer, which is top of the line. They also put in the most beautiful roofs, whatever it is. I don't know what the plural is. Owens Corning Platinum Preferred Vendor, or dealer, which means that they are the top 1% of the roofers at Owens Corning. And Owens Corning shingle color right now is Midnight Plum, which is just beautiful. You can also do the less sexy stuff like the gutters and the downspouts and the soften and the fascia. But don't forget, you can put in new skylights, sun tunnels, if you've got kind of a smaller space. Also, siding changes your world. 1-800-NEW-ROOF, IrelandContracting.com. Please get in touch with them. They are phenomenal. Man, full docket today. I love it. Love it. Let's make sure I did everything I was supposed to do.
Trying to get a police scanner. Our local TV stations are covering nothing. So who knows? Maybe it's.
What is this? There we go. Oh. Sorry, I'm bulging out, ladies and gentlemen. The curls are leaping out of my head.
They want me to pay for the scanner. I'm not paying for a police scanner.
I've got a word for that. Fungu.
Yeah, I pay taxes.
Pay your fair share, damn it, Brock. Hunter doesn't.
This will make you smile. Told you.
All right, here's your headline. 7-Eleven Incorporated continues commitment to fostering stronger, safer communities. How's that possible? Oh, 7-Eleven, I love you for this. I just don't get it. I mean, I know that we've gotten to this weird place where we'll do anything to get back to normal, to claw back to that place in time where you felt like you could walk down the street and not get jumped, or not be like that poor woman in Pittsburgh, right? I think she's from Butler County, outside of Pittsburgh. A student at USC in Los Angeles comes home after her freshman year to get an internship with some company in downtown Pittsburgh, has an internship and leaves said position downtown at 3 p.m. to go to the bus stop to get back home or to get wherever she's going, and gets assaulted. A woman hits her in the head with a shoe, drags her by the hair onto the ground, drags her into the street, proceeds to kick the liver out of her face, punch her, kick her, breaks her nose, gives her a concussion, as nobody comes to her rescue. That's not normal. This is not normal. What we're going through is nothing that this party on the left can run on. And so now 7-Eleven wants to restart this program where it's trying to foster relationships between children and police, but by giving people free Slurpees? Really? I remember growing up when we had Dare. I don't know if it did anything, but I remember the German Shepherd that came to my school. And the police officer with bulletproof vest and all the bells and whistles standing next to his car, his police cruiser that was decked out with Dare all over it, keep kids off drugs, that kind of connection. Like, we respected the police. You didn't necessarily always like the police, particularly if you were on the wrong end of the police. But when something went sideways, oh boy, were you grateful for them. Well, so in Montgomery County, Maryland, apparently where teen crime is through the roof because the police have been demonized, they've been defunded. And this is all by Democrats who want you to believe post-George Floyd that police are racist, that cops are bad people, that if we just had fewer of them, all things would be fantastic because that's logical. They want you to believe that this connection giving Slurpees to kids is going to help. Well, here's a great news report. Boop, 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 boop. This just in, ladies and gentlemen. Let's go live on the street. Let's see what's going on with this guy who's got fabulous hair. Go.
Here in Tacoma Park, if police catch your child this summer in the act, they might get a ticket. The Operation Chill program is now underway, but take a look at the citation closely. It's a free Slurpee. This is an innovative way the police department here is aiming to reduce crime and build rapport between the youth and cops. Anytime an officer sees a child making a good decision, being kind or doing the right thing, they will issue a ticket locally. There has been a sharp increase in juvenile crime, and crime here in Tacoma Park has increased last year due to social issues, drugs, and changes in laws affecting juveniles, according to Police Chief Antonio Duvall. MCPD data shows since 2022, the number of juveniles arrested for violent crimes has risen in the county by more than 300%. From FY22 to 23, the number of juvenile violent crime suspects increased by 178%, and the number of young victims also rose in the county by more than 200%.
Got teen crime, teen victims of crime off the charts, out of control. This administration that loves root causes of things and puts Kamala Harris on to do nothing, right? If we wanted to solve the problem, we would reimagine how we educate kids. We would reimagine public schools and school choice. We would bring God back into our lives. We would support fathers. We would bring fathers back into the home. We would celebrate the cohesive nuclear family unit. We'd get groomers the hell away from our kids. We would bring back community policing. We would teach respect of law enforcement. See, that's how you fix things, not by hopping into a 7-Eleven and kicking out a root beer Slurpee, which I like as much as the next guy. Really? See, it's so frustrating when you see things clearly for what they are. It's not complicated. And I say that on this program all the time. Common sense, conservative values. It's what everybody can get behind because conservative is good for everybody. When we come back on the Wendy Bell Radio program, my friends, the Washington Post just floated this outrageous idea, and it's replacing Kamala Harris on the ticket. Okay, just hang tight. I'll drop it on you. You see what you think. Next on the Wendy Bell Radio Network. You know, you hear about CBD, but if you're not one who's big into the scene, when they made it legal for CBD products to be sold commercially for us, a lot of people started talking about the medicinal effects of this chemical found in marijuana. This is not the part that contains THC. This is not the product that produces a high, but the very profound and well-known for millennia beneficial medicinal benefits, that's redundant, but you know what I mean, because I was struggling, of CBD now are available to you. And we very much like cbdistillery.com. cbdistillery.com, I like what they do, and they've offered 20% off what they have in the store if you use my name, Wendy. Free shipping, millions of customers, their best products, I think. And when you go and you do some shopping there, look and see the various formulations, what they do, because they have the topical stuff like this, which I use on my arthritis, right? This is the 1,000 milligram relief and relax. But the stuff that they also make, the gummies that you can chew up and swallow, the ingestibles for anxiety, for stress relief, to allow you to more easily fall asleep and to stay asleep, and then to wake up without feeling groggy like you've just NyQuil'd yourself. Because come on, we've all done NyQuil. When you're desperate, you're like, I'll do anything. Until the next day when you wake up and you feel like you're still sleeping and it sucks. That's not cbdistillery.com. cbdistillery.com, safe, green products, natural products that help you. 20% off, code Wendy, free shipping. Check it out. Got nothing to lose. And Morgane's Fitness. I want to thank Kelly Morgan and Morgane's Fitness. I love what she does, and I love that when you walk into one of her 4 gyms in Somerset and Cambria counties, you see the plaque right there. It says proud sponsor of the Wendy Bell radio program. It's a sign to everybody walking in, we believe in America. And if you're comfortable in our circles, come on in. We'll teach you all about the equipment. We'll help you get your core strength back. We'll help you. You know, walking in is the hardest part, and then it's all better from there. Once you start exercising, once you start getting stronger, once you start slimming down, losing the inches and gaining the muscle, it's a totally different lifestyle. Morgainsfitness.com, MORGAINZ fitness.com. And I know she has a Transformation Tuesday, but I'm not going to read it to you today. I'm going to dangle on that on you for tomorrow. But they're open 24/7. That's a big commitment. Big commitment. Love them. What a great blessing. I still have 2 wonderful sponsors to talk about in the next hour. Texas Bullion Exchange and also Field of Greens. To say that as a self-run radio program that Brock and I have 12 to 15 sponsors. Do you know what radio stations would kill for that? Brock, you know.
Yeah, it's hard to quantify how many they would want, but how many you need to run a show between, I know for just us, you know, pay and software,
uploading, uplinking, all of this stuff,
all the
we
computers and internet, which seems to be wonky right now.
Well, you know, I do that. I have that effect on things, on men, and I'm just kidding. Stud Muffin there isn't paying attention to me.
I'm trying to find out if we're going to be able to leave or not.
Oh, because you've got all sorts of stuff going on. Shoot, I'd make him order me a pizza or something, but they couldn't get here.
I was just going to say.
God bless 7-Eleven. I mean, they're trying to do something, but it's just, I don't know. And I don't mean to be disparaging, but I'm going to be disparaging because, you know, if we're at a Slurpee phase of this whole.
This is the get the jab, get a free donut. Or
no,
a house.
Remember when they
donut
did it?
or
no, they you got a Happy Meal.
Oh, I was talking about. Remember
Bring your kids into McDonald's and get vaccinated and get some pancakes.
remember the woman
lifelong health problems, but hey, for 5 seconds you enjoyed some pancakes.
Remember the reporter that you chastised for when they were doing donuts on the
donuts?
Donuts?
I don't know what you're talking about. It's like people who lose the double consonant T or D, right?
I'm sure
So
I do
it's
it. So
button or that whole like conjunction didn't, and I'm like, I'll punch you in the throat. I will punch you in the throat. And then when you're reeling, gasping for air, I will then throw you down the stairs.
Wow. She's gone postal.
It's a little aggressive, but
just a little.
You just sound like a dullard.
I just made the okay sign.
I don't know. That's white supremacy.
I know.
I just nag my kids.
Keep
Like,
it in check.
they're tall. I'm like, stand up straight. Don't slouch. Stand up straight. Put it out. I put the girls out every day. I know they get in people's way. I understand that. I try to keep things
You're
under
like,
control.
easy, lady.
Back it up.
Yeah. Let them
I
get
need
through
some personal space.
Let them get through the door first, and then you can enter.
That's rude.
What's rude is we're 170 away from 3K.
People. Honestly. That's distressing.
It is. I expect more. I think that's what it is. You know, when your kids come home with B's, you're like, I expect more from you. Which one?
5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Wendy Bell. Inspiring solutions to save America, one show at a time. Are you ready to get on board?
When are you guys gonna learn? The more you indict, the more we unite. Facts. It's Trump 2024. We don't care. You heard me? We already made our mind up. You already know when the hood got your back. Man, they deep in the hood. Gangsters. Hollering about Trump 2024. You heard me? Woo, woo. Wah. Gangsters. The hood got this man back. I'm just trying to tell you. You heard me? And we ain't stupid, man. American people, man. We ain't all them talking about lockdowns and back when the masks and all that. You know, they got a new virus coming and it's gonna be, man, nobody don't care. Ain't fooling nobody no more with none of that. You know, new jack, man, nobody being fooled no more. We all the way up, you heard me? It's Trump 2024. That's what it's gonna be, cause we ain't having nothing else.
From sea to shining sea, 3 hours of bold truth and excellence. The Wendy Bell Radio Program.
Welcome back. Hour number 3 of the Wendy Bell Radio Program is on the clock. And so I'm going to start with a question for you. And I think everybody has a perspective on this. Who's worse? Barack Obama. Excuse me. Joe Biden. I'm sorry.
It's one and the same.
I'm sorry. It all kind of blurs together. Joe Biden or Kamala Harris? Seriously. That's tricky. That's very tricky. So I found this opinion piece in the ever credible Washington Post. And I wanted to read it to you because I have not heard in a while the Chinese spy balloon being floated out there to gauge public opinion. And these things are dropped specifically, strategically, surgically, if you will, to gauge reaction. And it's such a bad idea. And it's so what the left would do. So here's the story. This is written by a woman by the name of Kathleen Parker. Sounds very pedestrian. Looks like a white college-educated liberal woman to me, so it should be good. And this is it. Democrats are wrestling with an age-old problem. This came out a couple days ago, the Washington Post, whose cut line is "Democracy dies in darkness." Well, it's been dark for a while, and that wasn't the eclipse. I want you to consider this as it's being floated out there. Here's your story. Seemingly unrelated news items collided midweek. This came out on the 14th, so last week. Seemingly unrelated news items collided midweek to suggest a possible solution for a vexing problem. President Biden's age. Guys, it's not the age. My 84-year-old father-in-law, my 82-year-old father are sharp. They might not go out there and cut their own grass anymore. They might not be, humping it every day on a 9 to 5, but they're there. It ain't the age. It's the dementia, Kathleen. She writes, I've touched on this topic in recent weeks, but with no clear vision for a fix. To sum up, Americans, including Democrats, are concerned about Biden's age and the increasing probability that he wouldn't be able to complete a second term. Guys, he hasn't been there for the first one. All right. If he wins re-election, Biden will be 82 on Inauguration Day. That's not happening. Now, the problem isn't his numerical age. People age in different ways. In some cases, people hardly age at all. They're so physically fit and mentally astute. But even the most robust 80-year-old would be challenged to keep pace with the White House job. Far younger presidents have turned gray in the Oval Office. They're not chemically dependent the way I am. Biden's steady decline in the past few years, his stumbles, his search for words, his occasional blank stare, Kathleen, has been impossible to ignore. Such change isn't a reflection of character. It is part of the natural order of life, and it isn't ageist to take note of that. Well, apparently now it is, because now you're a part of the deep fake community. But Biden and former President Donald Trump, 78, have forced the issue to the forefront of our politics. Thus, we see North Dakota's recently approved ballot measure to establish an upper age limit for congressional candidates, the nation's first serious attempt to grapple with America's perceived gerontocracy. Until someone challenges the measures as unconstitutional as expected, you can't run for Congress in North Dakota if you would turn 81 during your term. Neither Biden nor Trump could run for Congress in North Dakota. So what? For now, under a 1995 Supreme Court ruling, states cannot create eligibility restrictions beyond what's in the Constitution. Of course, a solid argument can be made that elections can take care of the age question. If candidates are deemed too old, voters don't elect them. Unless there's an apparatus of cheat that's been in place for many, many election cycles, and anybody who tells you there's not is lying to your face. Question now is, how risky would it be for Democrats to replace Kamala Harris? Inarguably, a significant obstacle to a Biden win is Kamala Harris, whose low popularity has not improved by her lackluster performance as vice president. More independents and disenchanted Republicans might swing for Biden if it weren't for the prospect of a President Harris, please. Not because of her sex, race, or any other demographic category, but because of her competency or lack thereof. So how risky would it be for Democrats to replace Kamala Harris? This is where things get a little weird. Some worry that a change would jeopardize black votes. Really? Is there somebody out there who's looking at Kamala Harris and Joe Biden and says, I've got to vote for them because she's black? I don't know, maybe. It was never clear, however, that Harris was a draw for black American voters, even if some black women celebrated her rise. When she dropped, how she got there was dubious. When she dropped out of the presidential race in 2019, she was polling below Pete Buttigieg in South Carolina. Wasn't really a barn burner. Moreover, does anyone really think any Democrats are going to suddenly turn to Trump because Biden changes running mates to improve his chances of re-election? Herein lies one of the problems with identity politics. Block voting by skin color is among our most racist assumptions. But that's the platform the Democrats run on, y'all. Democrats, regardless of pigmentation or cultural heritage, want to win elections, presumably to advance a worldview consistent with their values of suck. I'm not alone, she writes, in suggesting that Biden replace Harris, perhaps in exchange for a key role in his administration. Serving as Attorney General, at least, would be in her wheelhouse. Really? Several alternative candidates have been suggested, including Michigan Governor Gretchen Whitmer, Illinois Senator Tammy Duckworth, and needless to say, Taylor Swift. Wow. By now, you've probably forgotten about the second part of the news collision earlier mentioned. It was a brief story Wednesday alleging a controversial development in a New York congressional race. Hillary Clinton had endorsed Westchester County Executive George Latimer for the House seat currently held by incumbent squad member and alarm yanker Jamal Bowman. Right? That was a curious emergence back into the spotlight for the former First Lady and hack extraordinaire. The controversy seems to stem mostly from the vitriol between the two candidates. Bowman had alleged Latimer as an anti-Muslim racist controlled by Republican billionaires, blah, blah, blah. But interesting. We are left to speculate about motive, but the effect of Clinton inserting herself into the news cycle is to remind voters that, but for her defeat in 2016, we wouldn't be stuck in this old white men dilemma. She's also reminding people of her relative centrism. Really? Her support for Israel and her broadly respected role as Secretary of State. Once the Washington Post, friends, always the Washington Post. This is it, though. No one has mentioned her as a possible running mate for Biden, far as I know. Why not replace Harris with Hillary? At 76, she's an old bat too. I like to kind of editorialize myself. I'm sorry. At 76, she might not want a part of it, please. But it's hard to retire when you feel your job isn't done. If Biden needs to step down, even those who didn't vote for Clinton would have confidence in her ability to keep the country on track. It's just a thought. But worse ideas have met with regrettable success. What? Hillary? Really? It's all they have. Old, washed up retreads. But there's a reason this Kathleen woman is writing about this. Nobody thinks Joe Biden's making it anywhere except into assisted living. It's who's number two. Nobody wants Kamala. I agree. It ain't because she's black or has ovaries. It's because she's woeful and stupid. Sorry. Hillary. Think about it. What do you think? When we come back on the Wendy Bell radio program, maybe this is why little Josh Shapiro, the tyrant governor in Pennsylvania, who fancies himself Republican, material, Republican, presidential. Maybe this is why he's got his unease in a bunch. New polling data ain't good for the left. Next. Only I could miss. Only I could miss the wastebasket and hit. You know what? I don't need you chirping in over there, chirper. So how about you put a sock in it?
What? Wow.
What do you guys think about Hillary?
She's
woof. Field of Greens, you guys. Excuse me, not Field of Greens. I don't want to talk about them yet. Texas Bullion Exchange. Texas Bullion Exchange. Look, precious metals, if you're not a big investment guru, you don't follow the markets avidly, but you know people talk about precious metals and how historically the price per ounce doesn't really go down. It keeps going up and up and up and up and up. So you're like, I might want to get some gold, some rounds, some buffaloes, some coins, some bars. Why not get Bob Menendez bars? Why not? Go for it. Or you're like, maybe I want some silver, great investment, or platinum, or palladium. And you're like, I really don't know what the difference is. I don't either, but I know who does. And it's Texas Bullion Exchange. 855-927-5557. This is what they send you when you call and you're like, hey, or you go to texasbullion.com. They've got this handy dandy guide, all sorts of commonly asked questions. So you can flip through it and be like, all right, I want to know more about what you do and how you do it. Tells you all about it. And I think it's very cool how they send you, if you do make a certified coin purchase, they send it in a really professional way. Everything is sealed and it's got the little QR code. It's official. You can have it in your hand. Gold, silver, platinum, palladium. Save it, share it with grandchildren or children. What a great thing to do together. TexasBullion.com. Company's name is Texas Bullion Exchange. Leave out the exchange. Go to TexasBullion.com. And there'll be a drop-down menu. How'd you hear about us? Blah, blah, blah. Wendy. And they like that. That number, though, is directly to them. 855-927-5557. That is a Wendy Bell radio listener number to Texas Bullion. Call. No pressure. Get educated. It's what we need. We need access to information from people who don't suck. Hence, Texas Bullion. Oh, my butt hurts. It's sitting too long. Ugh.
It's apparently the thing is that way, the way I go.
Oh, lucky you.
No, I'll just go the other way.
And you can pass Marcus.
Oh, yeah, great.
Marcus, the decomposing deer.
I'll have to put the window up.
Oh, dear.
Oh, dear.
I'll do a Harry and
cow.
I'll call you and say, my goodness gracious, he is liquefied. Except for his ears. You can see his little ears. The little fur blows in the wind as he's completely liquefied. Blah, 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 blah.
Oh, two. Wow.
Woof. So gross. Did we hit it, peeps?
Nope.
40 people? Come on. Really?
Here's what the Clintons are about.
Holy. Yeah, we've been watching the little tyrant, the little elfin tyrant who I tower over. I'm 5'7". I think Josh Shapiro's, he's got to be low digits 5, maybe 5'3", maybe 5'4". Not like that's
Lord
a bad
Farquaad.
thing. He is Lord Farquaad. You're right. He's been fussy for a while. He's super uneasy in a bunch. Like, what's going on, Joshy? Well, maybe this is why. Pennsylvania's governor is a little frustrato. Let's go. Breitbart headline poll. Trump leads Biden in key swing state of Pennsylvania. Now, because we live here in the land before time, and we live in a totally corrupt, sucky zip code that is Pittsburgh. Pittsburgh, great town. Historically wonderful. Beautiful at the confluence of the three rivers, the Monongahela, the Ohio, the Allegheny. Beautiful place with great sports. You got the Penguins, you got the Pirates. They're fun to watch right now. You got the Steelers. You've got a magnificent topography, rolling hills, beautiful, lush, green landscapes. By and large, really lovely people. And then everything went to crap. And now you got garbage all over the place. You've got decomposing deer all over. Same one I've been traveling past for 2 months now. I call him Marcus. He's liquefied. You can see his little ears. That's all you've got on the side of the road. Thank you very much, because there's no garbage collection, apparently, on the highways. There's nobody policing between 3 a.m. and 7 a.m. in my community. Not enough cops. Nobody wants to get in the pipeline. Who would? Right? Why? To be demonized? Well, apparently people have had enough, even where we are. A survey taken June 3rd through 6th, following the Manhattan jury's controversial guilty verdict in Trump's business records trial, shows Donald Trump edging Joe Biden out by 2 points in the Keystone State. Now, this is probably not beyond the margin of error. It's pretty daggone big, ladies and gentlemen. Like the numbers with the black voters, the young black voters. Independent candidate Robert F. Kennedy Jr. comes in a distant 3rd place with 3% support. 1% goes to the Green Party candidate Jill Stein, 1% for Cornel West, and less than 1% for, Chase Oliver, who is an openly gay Obama lover who pretends to be libertarian. Okay, you do you. You'll never get anywhere. Another 2% remain undecided. The survey also found Trump edging out Biden among independent voters in Pennsylvania, with 42% support to Biden's 40%. That's not good for these folks. Duh. Is this why Josh Shapiro is coming out calling people Republicans, particularly those in Congress who had come out after January 6th and said that Donald Trump incited an insurrection? Now all of a sudden, supporting the presumptive next president of the United States. Josh Shapiro says those people are fundamentally weak. Really? Josh? Well, that's unfortunate. I want to play a little something, something. And this is MSNBC, if I'm not mistaken, to junior Biden spokesman Mike Tyler. This is the poor schlub that they trotted out in advance of Robert De Niro, who was taking quote unquote questions of a staged photo op media event outside the Manhattan courtroom and alleging, no, this didn't have anything to do with Donald Trump and his hearing and his court case. And then you saw a panicked Robert De Niro being totally weird, talking about threat to democracy. He's a threat to democracy, blah, 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 right? Listen to MSNBC, call a spade a spade. Hey, Michigan and Pennsylvania, Joe Biden's down. What are you people doing? It obviously isn't working. What's the play? Here is the guy, Mike Tyler, representing the administration. And we wonder why, Houston, there's a disconnect. Listen.
Over the weekend, the Trump campaign launched a Black Americans for Trump coalition. Your campaign mocked it and said it's not fooling anyone. But look at this. USA Today Suffolk polls show, for Michigan and Pennsylvania specifically, these are 2 key swing states. They show President Biden has lost roughly 20 points among black voters in both of those states, down from 76% to the mid-50s. Of course, in a close election, that can make a huge difference. Why do you think the president is losing support with these voters?
Well, listen, this campaign is going to do very good amongst black voters because no administration has done more for black America than the Biden-Harris administration.
But why is he losing support right now?
Well, listen, this is what the campaign is for. We have to remind people of exactly where we have come from and where we are going. That's why we're running ads consistently. That's why we're reminding people of the things that this administration has done for black America.
Your ad is about Donald Trump, the criminal, Mike. I'm not really sure what you're talking about. But when you say this administration is going to do very good in November, is going to do very good. Okay. Really? Really? He's got nothing to say. He has talking points to churn out. There is nothing. That's why Pennsylvania is moving directions. By the way, the majority of the 67 counties are dark, dark red. Dark red. When we come back on the Wendy Bell radio program, we got to go to the southern border. We got some information there that is absolutely mind-melting. This amnesty, mass amnesty, Biden wants to wave a magic wand over, what it means to all of us, next on the Wendy Bell Radio Network.
Can we stop pretending that Joe Biden got 76% of the vote, too? I mean,
I agree. It's 79 degrees in here. How does it feel over there?
72.
What?
That's what it said at. You have a lot more equipment in there.
Hey, wait a minute. Who said it? What?
Our thing is set at 72.
You have a thermostat?
Yeah.
It's funny because it doesn't work over here.
Well, it's...
No, it's not. You can do this all you want
No.
and create the illusion of shared air. It ain't hitting over here, babe.
Okay. Let me lay this out for you. Right next to the fan that you have that's telling you the temperature,
Yes.
you have a bunch of equipment that blows heat.
Is that how it goes? I'm just telling.
Apparently you weren't able to figure that out.
I'm merely saying that the circulation, smarty pants,
Well,
ain't happening.
You see those big white
Oh my
things
God,
above you?
I hate everything
Did
about
you see those big things?
I'm not talking
They're
to you.
triggered by
Okay, mhm.
the thermostat.
About you hogging all the 72-degree air. Okay. Whatever. Whatever, hog. Whatevs. Apparently the left likes pork. You should probably join with them. Field of Greens. Small regret, right, is slouching in the dentist chair thinking to yourself, I should have brushed and flossed better. A big health regret is listening to your doctor and thinking, I should have paid more attention to my nutrition when I was younger. Better health today and when it matters most is why I drink Field of Greens. I absolutely do. And you have to love the whole organic fruits and vegetables. You know as well as I that it's not the green apple flesh that's great. It's the peel, right? The skin of it. It's the seeds of it. It's the stem of it. It's all of this stuff. Imagine pulverizing all of this stuff. And it's all sorts of whole organic fruits and vegetables specifically chosen by doctors to target and benefit specific parts of your body, your circulation, your digestion, your heart, your lungs, all of that, your skin, your hair, your nails. Imagine all of that. It's not watered down extracts. It's an organic superfood. It's whole fruits and vegetables, all selected by doctors to support vital body functions. Only Field of Greens is backed by a better health promise. At your next health checkup, your doctor is going to say to you, what the heck are you doing? And they look at your labs and you're going to be like, how do you like me now? Guaranteed. Guaranteed. That's how serious they are. So go to fieldofgreens.com right now. Use my name as promo code Wendy. Get 15% off. That's how we'll get you started. All free shipping, of course. Fieldofgreens.com. Promo code Wendy, 15% off.
I'm not saying I know HVAC. I'm just saying that I have one thermostat in my house.
Are some of our people taking umbrage with your snippy
No,
demeanor?
I think no. I'm just saying, sure, the thermostat may be in here, but above us would be the ductwork, which you have right there. I have right here. It's just controlled right here, which it says do not adjust in unit locked. So I can't even change it anyway. So not mansplaining, just saying that
I'm not talking to you anymore. Sounds good to me. Who else? Who will I be singing to today? I don't know. Who wants me to sing to them? Where is Darius? Is Darius here? Or do I need to go to Darius? I don't know. Maybe he left. He did say ductwork. I heard it too, Demanda.
Ductwork. What?
Salty. Wendy's
You know-
mocking Brock.
I don't have to care.
Darius
It's
is
nice
here.
and cool in here. So like, what do I care?
Oh, what a jerk. You're just a jerk. Whatever. You're going to miss me when I'm gone.
We'll see how much of a jerk I am when you call for sign and there's dead silence.
Oh, really? What if I decide that for tomorrow, just because I can, I'm going to have no sound. So therefore, you're going to have nothing to do. And then you'll be beside yourself. You'll be beside yourself because there's nothing for you to do and you won't feel like you've participated. Furthermore, I'll select not a single one of your stupid stories that you suggest for me to put on the show. Okay? That's how that'll go.
Really? Is that how that's going to work?
Because
it's Tuesday.
And then here's what's funny.
Because it's Tuesday.
Well, that's fine. I can find my own lib of the week, y'all. So what's funny is...
Well, you'll have to read that story.
I sure can. I sure can.
Wow.
Whatever. You want to mess with the bull? Quote the movie. Tell me which movie that's from. Who knows? See who's got it.
It's one of 4 movies that she's seen.
Come on. No, they know. Shut up. Ugh, you're such a jerk. I really don't like you. I really don't. Thank you, Ray Frey.
5.
Thank
I stopped an old man along the way, hoping to find some old forgotten words or ancient melodies. He turned to me as if to say, hurry boy, it's waiting there for you. Gotta take a lot to drag me away from you. There's nothing that 100 men or more could ever do. I guess the rain's down in Africa. Gonna take some time to do the things we never did.
Look, this stuff going on at the southern border. This mother of 5 in Maryland, Rachel Morin, who was out for a run, much like Lincoln Riley, as the case might be, who got dragged down, assaulted, and murdered by an illegal thug who shouldn't have been here. That is blood on Joe Biden / the deep state's hands. And it makes me sick to consider this global compact on migration, this idea that our individual countries' borders should be blurred and that the individual national identity of every country should be watered down, and that the people who live there, who love those places, should fear every single day this new liberal world order. It makes me sick. And they might try to point fingers and blame right-wing media for talking honestly about Joe Biden's dementia. But they can't sit on and silence and cover up the crimes, the rapes, the murders at the hands of these people who've come into our country. And when Donald Trump says these other countries are opening up their prisons and their insane institutions, they're not sending you their Nobel laureates. They're not sending you their innovators, their entrepreneurs, their think outside the boxers. They're sending you their dregs. They're sending us. And they're flying them in to our communities every day. And some of the details about this is just, the details are just breathtaking. All right. I want to start with a little ABC News report, a little blurb. And this is a local station in Maryland talking about this mass amnesty plan for millions of illegals. Joe Biden wants to wave this magic wand and say illegals who are here and their spouses, et cetera, all the other people, we're going to just wave a wand and say amnesty. You get what you want. This man has this administration has trampled the rule of law and what is safe and what is just. So tragically. And a mother of 5 would be alive today, possibly, if not. Listen.
Well, the man accused of killing a Maryland mother of 5 on a hiking trail has been captured now in Oklahoma. Rachel Morin's body was found in August of 2023. Investigators say they searched the country for her killer using a sketch and DNA evidence from the crime scene. Well, they say their first break came when they matched DNA from a home invasion case on the other coast. It was in Los Angeles. Police say the doorbell video led them to 23-year-old Victor Antonio Martinez Hernandez in Tulsa. Investigators say the suspect entered the U.S. illegally in February of last year.
To 1600 Pennsylvania Avenue and to every member in both chambers of Congress. 1,800 miles from the southern border, and this is the second woman in our county to be killed by an illegal alien.
Well, the sheriff says that he fled to the U.S. illegally after murdering a woman in El Salvador in January of 2023. Just 1 month before he entered the U.S. last year, Interpol issued an arrest warrant for Hernandez.
And these stories are going to become more and more common. It's disgusting. It's purposeful. It's deadly. And it's the new reality in America. Bill Malhusian down at the border where he's been covering all of this talks about the stunning disparity per ICE agent, per border agent who's got to try to manage these cases. Each one has thousands of backlogged cases. Migrants, immigrants, illegals who've come across our border, who've received a Biden phone with a notice to appear on it. Well, I'll come back in a year. I'm sure you'll stick to that. How many of those cases does each individual agent at the border, just to paint the picture of how overwhelmed these people are, how ridiculous it is, how dangerous it is, and how Joe Biden wants it that way? Listen.
We got our hands on some brand new internal ICE data. It is jaw-dropping, and it shows just how overwhelmed the agency is right now. Before I get into it, just a little context on what it is. ICE has something called a non-detained docket. That is made up of migrants who have crossed illegally and have been released into the country with a future court date. It also includes illegal immigrants who have already been ordered deported by a judge but are still here in the country. So with that in mind, take a look at these staggering numbers right here. Federal sources telling Fox News ICE's non-detained docket has now exploded to 7.4 million cases so far in fiscal year 2024. We're told it's on track to hit 8 million by the end of this year. As you can see, these cases have more than doubled since Trump's years in office. We're told over 1 million cases have been added to this docket just since October 1st, largely due to mass catch and release here at the border. As you can imagine, ICE is buried right now. And just to put it in perspective, take a look at this second graphic right here. Sources tell us right now each ICE officer is currently managing an average of 7,000 cases each. Yes, you heard that right. 7,000 cases per ICE officer. That is obviously an impossible task given current staffing levels. ICE only has about 6,000 deportation officers nationwide right now. Not all of them work on this non-detained docket.
Meanwhile, you have little twerp Alejandro Mayorkas trying to tell you that it's inherited. The system is broken. We inherited a broken system. Well, we were building a wall, dude. See, we were building that wall. We had already purchased all the supplies. And then you guys sold that supplies off for pennies on the dollar because you needed bodies. You need people. You need that motor voter registration bullcrap. When people go in to get a driver's license, they're automatically registered to vote. You need that, don't you? Because that's going on all over the country. And these people who have no skin in the game, who pay no taxes, who've done nothing to contribute to our culture, now draining on it in every school, in every hospital, in every zip code, every city, right? The drain on us. all of a sudden now, there's this push. Well, why don't we make these people cops? That sounds perfect. Let's take people that we've not vetted, right? From all over the world. There are like 197 countries in the world. All over the world. 140 at a minimum countries represented now because of this bull crap at the border. Let's make them cops. That makes perfect sense. How about this headline? This is from Fox. Unbelievable. Illegal immigrant police could soon fill beleaguered ranks of a blue city. I don't know what you do if you live in Seattle, except look at your leaders and say, God, you suck. Seattle Police Department has lost over 700 officers in 5 years. I mean, like, we can't even figure out why. Why would that be? Such a mystery. City of Seattle looking to fill the depleted ranks of its police department with migrants who, as children, entered the country illegally, it says. The Seattle Police Department is now accepting applications from DACA recipients. Reads a post last week on the Seattle Police Department's LinkedIn page. Deferred action for childhood arrivals recipients, oftentimes known as dreamers, are migrants who entered the country illegally as minors and have since taken advantage of the DACA policy, an Obama-era program that allows qualifying migrants the ability to defer action on deportation and gain work authorization in the United States. This is part of the reason why young, particularly Black voters, are waking up to the reality of what's going on the street. They know where the people are being employed. You have migrants from all over the world making less than minimum wage, cutthroating it, right? Who are then getting government subsidies that you pay for, your tax dollars, to cover where they live, how their kids are educated, their free health care. Oh, you need job training? No worries. How about a massage? You need a new haircut? We've got you covered. Come stay here. You pay for that. They go work, pennies on the dollar, take jobs away from primarily Black and Hispanic workers, middle to lower class. These corporations, these businesses love it. Who doesn't like slave labor at a pittance of what my nephew who works at Jersey Mike's in Manhattan Beach, California, who makes $26 an hour. And the store owners are baffled why nobody wants to buy an $18 submarine sandwich. And there's nothing these people touch that doesn't turn to actual ash in their hands. It is the destruction of America before your very eyes. And the worst part of it is you're stuck in the snow globe. And some schmuck out there is shaking it up, and everything that you know is upside down, inside out, inconvenient, unaffordable, scary, unsafe, with schools that are failing our kids and teachers who are grooming them. But other than that, totally vote for Joe Biden. When we come back on the Wendy Bell radio program, you know what? I've never heard it before in its entirety. Have you ever heard what Donald Trump actually said on that August day in 2017 in Charlottesville? The really fine people on both sides BS, says Karine Jean-Pierre is hyperventilating that it's the right-wing media that's twisting things. Really? Listen for yourself and you decide what he said and how it was presented. Next on the Wendy Bell Radio Network. My can is on fire. Muscularly speaking. Oh, we're not talking. Are we fighting, honey bunny? Is that what's going on behind the glass? Brock and I are fighting. Wow. Okay.
I am working.
What you working on, Brock?
See, when you stop talking, I have to sit here and push buttons and make sure the right buttons are pushed.
Buttons.
Buttons.
Looks like there's a lock. I swear to God.
I push the buttons.
I'll hurt you. I'll put you in the duck work. But you should have went somewhere to fix that before you came here. I know, it's so delicious, isn't it? Just thank Harry Enton and this all in one day for me. I know. I'm a little tingly. I love that he's kind of just succumbed. Let's check it out. That's the face of succumbing. That is a succumber, right? He's given in to the estrogen demands of my sweet self. Victory is mine. Nope. Okay. I really have to pee again.
10 minutes.
Serenity now.
10 minutes.
Mm-hmm.
You
Whatever.
just have to survive for 10 minutes.
Is that right? Man, we got it all in today. It was pretty good. I'm awesome. Just kidding.
I kept my mouth shut.
I could go there and criticize you for that as well, but I'm not going to.
Oh, wow. Look at that. 1150 is the first non-criticism.
I'm not going to criticize that about you right now. I'm not going to criticize that you say kept instead of kept. I mean, I'm not going to criticize. It seems kind of petty in the bigger picture of I should have went. So until we can iron that out, I think we'll start with some baby steps. The boys are doing some SAT prep. Maybe you can come on over for the English portion of it. Woo!
I got a few words I can use.
Woo!
I have a few words
Do
that I
you
know.
notice that whenever you go to Penguin or Pirates games, there's always some yokel in the back who's like, woo!
Yes.
You know, what is that?
That's that wrestling thing. Like Ric
Oh, is
Flair
that a-
used to go, woo!
Oh, that's a thing.
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't know that.
It's not a
just
thing
annoying
for
then.
me. It agitates the hell out of me. But I'm used to things that agitate the hell out of me. I deal with it on a pretty regular basis.
Wow, what a champion. What a hero. How many more trinkets?
Not all
can you-
heroes wear capes.
How many trinkets can you put on your back wall there? Can we add more to it? You've got a Rush Limbaugh towel. You've got the cross.
Well, the cross is part of the flag. I got some coins. I got a bat. And I got a sign for you.
Wow.
Take them to the train station. 8 minutes.
Darius wouldn't talk to me like that.
Darius doesn't have to put up with you 8 hours.
Darius would love to put up with me.
We all question Darius. Here's why Joe Biden should be drug tested.
Why? What are you talking about? You know, I hadn't really done the huge deep dive on this, and this popped up in my newsfeed this morning, and I was like, wow. It was Scott Adams who actually reposted it. And he's the guy behind, is it Dilbert? I think he's the guy behind Dilbert. And he was canceled because he wouldn't kowtow to the woke left mob of suck. And he's come out sort of like James Woods, sort of like Dean Cain, sort of like people like Rob Schneider, like we have loudly, proudly, unabashedly sharing conservative common sense. It's not complicated. But when you look at what Donald Trump said, August 15th of 2017, I think it was, this was the Charlottesville thing. Donald Trump's very fine people on both sides comment. Who were these people? Well, according to the Washington Post, they were neo-Nazis. Donald Trump was siding with people who are lousy human beings And boy, did they run with this. This whole idea that Donald Trump is a white extremist, supremacist wacko who hates black people. He's a misogynist. He's blah, 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 blah. Everything the left has done since the date 8 years ago over the weekend, which was the anniversary, the 8th anniversary of him descending the golden escalator with Melania and announcing his candidacy to run for president of the United States. Everything that they have done, they've lied to you about. 95% negative news coverage, all the deep fake garbage, the false news narratives. It's the reason why the mainstream legacy media exists. They have a debt to pay off to the deep state. Alas, it's been nonstop fake news, terrible coverage of Donald Trump. Well, so I heard for the first time, and it's only like 2 minutes and 20 seconds, what Donald Trump was actually saying in that event. Why? Why was he talking about this? And how people misconstrued what he said. I want you to hear his actual words. I want you to hear how it was meant and how it was taken out of context. And then put that vis-a-vis in your playbook. And remember how Karine Jean-Pierre and Nicole Wallace this morning were falling over themselves to tell you how all of the selective editing of Joe Biden walking around dazed and confused, that's really not what's going on. Well, actually it is. Here is Trump in his own words from Charlottesville on August 15th, 2017.
That were very fine people on both sides. You had people in that group, excuse me, I saw the same pictures as you did. You had people in that group that were there to protest the taking down of, to them, a very, very important statue and the renaming of a park from Robert E. Lee to another name.
Robert E. Lee are not the same.
Well, no, George Washington was a slave owner. Was George Washington a slave owner? So will George Washington now lose his status? Are we going to take down, excuse me, are we going to take down statues to George Washington? How about Thomas Jefferson? What do you think of Thomas Jefferson? You like him? Okay, good. Are we going to take down the statue? Because he was a major slave owner. Now we're going to take down his statue. So you know what? It's fine. You're changing history, you're changing culture, and you had people, and I'm not talking about the neo-Nazis and the white nationalists, because they should be condemned totally. But you had many people in that group other than neo-Nazis and white nationalists, okay? And the press has treated them absolutely unfairly. Now, in the other group also, you had some fine people, but you also had troublemakers, and you see them come with the black outfits, and with the helmets, and with the baseball bats. You had a lot of bad people in the other group too.
Treated unfairly, sir. I'm sorry, I just didn't understand what you were saying. You were saying the press has treated white nationalists unfairly?
No,
I just didn't understand what you were saying.
No. There were people in that rally, and I looked the night before. If you look, there were people protesting very quietly the taking down of the statue of Robert E. Lee. I'm sure in that group there were some bad ones. The following day it looked like they had some rough, bad people, neo-Nazis, white nationalists, whatever you want to call them. But you had a lot of people in that group that were there to innocently protest and very legally protest because, you know, I don't know if you know, they had a permit. The other group didn't have a permit. So I only tell you this, there are two sides to a story. I thought what took place was a horrible moment for our country, a horrible moment. But there are two sides to the country.
How is that inflammatory? How is that hateful? How is that racist? It's not. But we can cherry pick. And we could put things out there that are garbage. I'm amazed as I listen to that. His level, always respectful, even when people are not to him. And how much of that was a precursor to January 6th. People who were there at the Capitol peacefully. People there who had permits to protest. All ensconced in this awful chapter of deep state suck because they're desperate to protect the outcome of the 2020 election. Glad you're here, ladies and gentlemen. Come back tomorrow, won't you? Bring a friend. Until then, have a great day. Peace.